Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Sunday. It is time for Warhammer Sunday. Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome one and all. It's the usual Sunday show where I spend 3 hours trying to do some work and probably doing very little. And basically you just guys hanging out and chat, having a good time. Now, clearing my throat, I apologise. I have made some significant changes to the audio setup. So, I do need you to tell me if you can hear me okay, if I'm alright. The significant changes mean I don't have to talk really loud anymore, so I might be able to be quite chilled from now on. I know what I've just said, it's probably not going to happen, me being chilled. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully it all works. Hopefully you can all see me and hear me okay, and everything's funky-dory. I've added a bit of a limiter to the microphone, you see, on streams, and it seems to work some. I've got that kind of like radio style audio track now with a little bit clippy, a little bit crisp, hopefully. Anyway, I don't know, anyway, but it means I don't have to talk quite so loud, which is also handy because Mama Fox isn't very well today. She's gone back to bed because she's poorly sick today, so I don't want to talk too loud anyway. But yes, welcome Warhammer Sunday. If you've not seen one of these before, basically I sit here and try and crack on. At the moment I'm cracking on with my Warhammer Conquest part work, the Hachette part work that delivers a Space Marine and a Death Guard army in 80 issues. And what I'm doing is I'm spending each weekend on this show just building up all the models as they come through. I've still got about 5 or 6 issues to come yet before it's finished, but I'm building my way through slowly, and once I've got all the models from the entire part work built up, I'll then crack on with painting them and doing proper video build series. There was a plan to do it like weekly or monthly with like following the magazine, but I've dumped that. It was a terrible idea. We'll be doing proper paint jobs on everything. I just need to adjust my chair 1 second. Ooh, there we go. I've got the tickly throat as always. So we're going to be cracking on with the Warhammer Conquest. Now, if you've not seen one of these before, basically, I count on you guys to join me in the live chat and give me things to talk about. I've got the live chat here. You can see Guthorm always keeps an eye on the chat. Guthorm's your mod. There are a few of the moderators in today. We have Dad and Chris from Gross Models, I think, are the only two in at the moment. All my moderators are lovely, lovely people. They'll really look after you. They're all lovely and cuddly and fluffy, but if you cross them, they'll burn you alive and feed you to the sharks. So don't cross them. Be nice to them. They'll keep you safe in the chat. But yes, do come and join the live chat. If you're watching this and you can see the live chat here, we can see this chat, but you can't see that chat because that's the YouTube chat. You want to join this, you can see it there. But if you want to join in, if you're watching embedded on somewhere like Ello or Facebook or Twitter or somewhere like that, then all you need to do is hit the YouTube icon that's down here underneath the video player in the bottom right hand corner somewhere near the full screen, the full screen button. Click on that and it'll take you to the YouTube page where you can watch this stream. You can full screen it and you can join in the live chat. Yes, you can pop out the chat and have it overlaid over the full screen view. So give it a go and do come and join the live chat, because nobody really watches this for the sake of watching it. Nobody has me on and sits there watching the screen seeing what I'm doing, because I'm just waffling for 3 hours. Really, you have me on in the background it's like listening to Radio 4, just waffling on about rain and food for 4 hours, 3 hours, whatever, but you happen to be in the live chat as well. So come and join in. As always, if you want to get my attention in chat, if you are in the live chat, you can do. You can do a super chat, which is the little sort of dollar symbol button at the bottom of the chat window. Click on that, and that will put your comment in a big colour box. I'll see it pop up here, and it'll make a little noise. There'll be an animation up here, and it'll say hooray, and I'll get your message. I can't possibly miss your comment that way. So you can do a super chat. You'll also be helping to support this channel, because it's one of the ways you can support this channel financially and help keep the lights on and keep the bills paid, because this is what I do for a living. Very, very quickly, quick shout out to the 3 branches of the executive that keep this channel going. First and foremost, my lovely patrons, my supporters on Patreon, patreon.com/modelmakingguru. The majority of my income comes from them. They do keep the lights on, they keep the bills paid, they keep me in food, and they mean that I can keep doing this as my income. So I do thank them very, very much. I love them dearly, absolutely adore them. I love you all. You're all my favourite children, but the patrons add money into that, so it's fantastic. So thank you to them. Of course, I am supported by emodels.co.uk as well. Excuse me. I forgot to put links in emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for your traditional model making needs. A link in the description below the video. And I am also supported by Goblin Gaming. I have an affiliate link in the description below the video, and it's in the chat as well. If you use that link for Goblin Gaming, you get loads. So you get 20% off Games Workshop products, Games Workshop, Malifaux, Conflict 47, but you also get a little bit of income for me as well. It doesn't cost you anything, but that link tells them that I sent you, so I get some credit for that. And there's also my Amazon store. Click it, go underneath the video into all the text and blurb down below. There's lots of links in there for how you can support this channel. So thank you to all them. Anyway, yes, one last thing, of course, before we get going. Most of you will know this, but in case you don't, we do also have a stream boss battle going on. George is the current stream boss. He won himself just shy of 500 quid's worth of Games Workshop goodies. If you want to become stream boss and have a chance of winning a whole shed load of goodness from Games Workshop, Forge World, or if you're in the UK or EU, Goblin Gaming, all you need to do is start putting tips through the tip jar, streamlabs.com/. Model making guru. That's the tip jar. Basically, as a community, you will be coming together, you'll be building up a big pot of cash, and whoever gets George's health down to 0 will become the new stream boss and will inherit that massive pot of cash. And say when George won, it was just shy of 500 quid. So yeah, every time you put a tip in the tip jar, it takes some of George's health off. The more you put through, the more that comes off. He's currently on 96,000. 96,000 out of 100,000, so it's always slow going because he's only been stream boss for a few weeks, so it's slow going. But yes, if you want to win yourself a big amount of goodness from Forge World or Warhammer, get putting your tips into the tip jar. I don't make any money off that. All the money that goes in the tip jar stays in the tip jar, and it's your community chest, as it were. Let's have a quick look at who's in before we crack on. Now, I know Pascal was the first in because he was here at like 10:30 this morning. But we have Dad is in, one of your mods. Welcome, Dad. Eric Graham. Pascal, of course, is in chat, but he was here before everybody else. He always is. He lives on every channel. Like I said, he's got a special. He lives in. I think he lives in like a big chateau somewhere, a big stately home type thing. He's got a special room. I can imagine a big, massive bay window that's like 12 feet tall, looking out onto the majestic gardens. And in the room, there's very little furniture, just a beautiful Persian rug that's like 700 years old, and then a bank of like 30 monitors and loads of computers, and he just watches all the channels, and he's always watching, always. Never misses a trick. That's in my mind. My mind's weird. Mordraka is in. Welcome, Mordraka. We have Miha is in. Welcome. I won't try and butcher your name again, but welcome, Miha. Just here to say I may not be watching the stream at all today for the next 2 to 3 months. I'm sorry to hear that, but you can always watch it on catch up later. Obviously, we'll be happy when you do come back. I guess you've got real life things to crack on with. But welcome, and thank you for putting a comment in the chat anyway. Cynical Steve is in. Welcome, Steve. We have Beyond Hope. Hello. We have, who else? We've got Candygram for Mongo. Greetings. Hope you're feeling better now, Dad. Yes, Dad was poorly sick last week, but I think he's better now. Who else do we have? Let's have a look. We have them not talking amongst themselves. Andy McLeish is in, who comes in saying big jobs. Thank you, Andy. Don't forget, of course, the chat is this show is just my show. I don't care if you use big boy swear words in chat. I couldn't care less. Feel free to use lots of rude swear words. There's probably some words I don't want you to use, the obvious ones, but yeah, you're allowed to swear. I'm not going to read them out because it's monetized, but I don't really care what you do in chat. Oh, don't forget, by the way, if you're watching this, don't forget to hit the like button. Every time you hit a like button on a video from a channel that you like, it helps that video in the listings, and it really helps your channel out because their videos become more prominent in search listings. So subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and if you do, if you can, hit the notification bell and choose all. That way you don't miss out on any of my content. We have Jamie Bone is in. Welcome, Jamie. Nim is in. Has everyone survived the massive winter storm that blew on through? We didn't have any of it. We got nothing. We got a little bit of rain, but no more than normal. Phil Lewis is in. He's currently watching the SpaceX launch stream as well. ATTG is in. Welcome, ATTG. John Kenwood. We have Wayne Haywood. Who else have we got in? Who else has come in? Space Hamster ZH is in. Welcome, Space Hamster. Got a ton of work to do, but I didn't want to skip 2 streams in a row. Haha, I appreciate it. Do both at the same time. Faceless Wolf is in. Welcome, Faceless Wolf. I always like a new face, even though it's a faceless face. A faceless wolf, no face. See, it's a new face. I'll shut up. So welcome, Andy McLeish. I've just mentioned, but he's in. He says blue to Dad, and then that's illegal. Eric Graham is just here for the comments. Chris says, Gross Models says, damn it, I forgot to feed the sharks. Now there'll be ill-tempered sharks, which is even better. It's not as good as ill-tempered sea bass, but ill-tempered sharks are good. Dad asks the most important question of all. Of course, there's no more important question. That is, of course, what's on your bench and what's in your belly. What are you working on right now? I'm working on these Conquest things. And what's in your belly? What you're going to have for your dinner, or what have you had for your dinner? We need to know. And you can't just say pizza or whatever. You've got to give us details. We want details. Ateris is in. Good afternoon, Fox and friends. I hope you're all doing well. Afternoon all, says Phil East. I'm actually, that's the other thing, do let me know if I start going a bit loud and clippy, because of the way of changes I've made to the microphone, I can talk a bit quieter and it's easier on my throat, but I will probably get carried away and talk loud, so do let me know if I start getting a bit loud and clippy, or if I go too quiet even. Let's have a look. I will come back and do the bench and belly because people are answering that now. We are looking for names. If I miss anybody, I do apologise. Lewis Williamson is in. Welcome, Lewis. I think that's everybody now. Yeah, I think we're up to date. So let's have a quick look at what people have said for bench and belly. Where is it? I've lost the question now. ATTG says bench is Deathwatch Intercessors and belly is Sunday Roast. Nice. Atera says bench is Nighthaunt and belly is Steak Pie or High. Aye, right, nice, great steak pie, fantastic. You're great lad, great fella. John Kenwood says this plays nicely on his Fire TV. Ooh. Andy McLeish says belly is a kind of Monstar Energy. Bench is Mustang car. Still, yes, I'm lazy. Mordraka says bench Spiky Nurgle Rhino. Oh yeah, anything Nurgle or especially Deathwatch, Death Guard even. Anything like, even worse, Poxwalkers. You'll end up with dimpled fingers because they dig in all the spikes. And I have to tell you, I even got a stabby wound. You can't see it there, but I did get a stabbity wound from the Plague Burst Crawler because I was doing something with it and I went like that on the spikes on the side and it went stab, blood. I can't win. Beyond Hope says belly 2 cheese and bacon crisp bakes. Ooh, bench Tyranids, lots of them, and they're all naked waiting to be painted. Tyranids, the ultimate blob troops. Philly says belly is cheese on toast and bench is the Blood Angels Battle Force. I can't do any painting this weekend, so I started to build it all. Dad says he got a strain of the flu that wasn't covered by the flu jab. Oh! Mordraka, to finish, Mordraka, it was the Spiky Nurgle Rhino number 7 that it was building. 7, wow. And the belly is Quintuple X Spicy Lamb Barbecue Stir Fry and a very large 8 litres of yogurt. Wow. I'm guessing the yogurt is to help kill the Quintuple X hot spiciness. Let's have a look. Nim says bench is the Zhuhang Gundam Death Scythe SD and belly is I'll probably order something later. Wayne Haywood says belly breakfast of toast and cereal thanks to Nasty Cold making me sleep late. Bench more painting of Strontium Dog minis and hopefully prepping my Judge Dredd minis. Cool. Fox sounds like he is overdubbing a video. He was a cop. In a world where nothing makes any sense, one man can solve the problem. Yeah, I've kind of, because I put a limiter on it, it's kind of got that slight sports commentator / mid-2000s voice, a BBC voiceover effect. I think, from what tests I did, I can't tell what it sounds like now. Jamie Bowen says, bench FX 135th MC Stewart, still going on with that, and belly roast beef and all the trimmings later. Yes, good lad. ATTG says lots of lovely swear words that I'm not going to read out. Eric Graham says belly pancakes, bench, Deathwatch kill team. To be honest, got 2 boxes of them. Just start staring at me on the workbench. Yes. Phil Lewis says she can't take any more, Captain. That was a terrible accent from me. I do apologise. Cynical Steve says belly French toast, aka eggy bread. Bench kit bash spec ship with legs akimbo. Steve was explaining in the chat earlier how he had to go in and buy the Primaris repulsor tank and then explain to the guy that he wasn't actually going to make the Primaris repulsor tank, he was going to make it into something completely different. Andy McLeish says chaos equals Laura Stabby because spikes. Lewis Williamson says bench Warhammer thing, belly roast gammon, mashed carrots, roast taters, roast parsnips, Yorkie puds, stuffing and gravy. Oh, I'm hungry already. Phil Lewis says belly was ham sandwiches and spicy noodles. Together, what sandwiches with noodles in them? Ooh, yeah. Bench is the new 172nd Space 1999 Eagle, fresh from America. America, pew pew pew. Edward says the bench is the Alariel, the Ever Queen, and Knight Preceptor Canis Rex. Belly going to be bacon, mac and cheese. Team Inept, Paul comes in from Team Inept. Hello, darlings. No capes, no capes. Excuse me. So I think we're up to date. Space Hamster asks Edward if that's like $400 worth of minis. The Alariel, the Ever Queen is what, about 70 quid? I think 50, 60 quid. And the Knight Preceptor is in the UK is about 90 quid. So yeah, so about 150 quid worth of stuff there. Knight Preceptor Canis Rex is the Imperial Knight with the cockpit. Yes. And Alariel is the giant stag beetle with the lady on top, the slightly naked lady. Right, so anyway, let's crack on. This is where where my attempts to stay quietly spoken fall apart now because I get excited about building stuff. We are building the Space Marine Scouts, which you have all informed me are a living hell, a living nightmare, because the arms are not specifically numbered, and they're not. You've got like X number of weapon arms and X number of arms, the other arm, and just like my Deathcore Krieg that didn't tell me which was which, I may have fun trying to line these up. Yes, although it's plastic, so I've got a bit more working time. So we're going to get these off the sprue. First thing we've got to do is get torsos and legs on basis. We'll probably only get that done today because you know what I'm like. I'm rubbish. I don't go fast. So Edward does confirm it's about $300 for those Christmas gifts. They're some good Christmas gifts. So first of all, we're just going to get off the torsos and legs. And we'll just get these off. And I'm starting off with my big fat Citadel clippers because I don't want to really screw up my god hands, which are a gift to me. Very lovely gift. Very, very kind, lovely, beautiful gift. So we'll just get these bits and bobs off first. There's 5 dudes in this set. I am almost up to date now with Warhammer Conquest. I've received now up to issue 70. I just put a video up the other day doing a quick look, you know, kind of what do you get in each issue, up to issue 70. So there's only 10 more to go. Now in the video, I did wonder how they were going to do it. Did you get like 4 and 4 and 2? Because when I made the video, I said I thought that the Primaris Repulsor came in 2 issues. I was wrong with that. It comes in technically 4. Although what we think you're going to get is 3 issues with sprues for the Primaris Repulsor, and then 1 issue with just the base and the clear part, which is a bit of a rip-off, but there you go. Just plastic base and a thing. It's not very exciting. But that's apparently how it's going to be. So I'm going to guess they're going to do... I still don't know how they're going to do it, though, because you've got 10 issues, and they deliver them in packs of 4. So it might still be 442. I don't know. Right, I need to blow my nose, because, of course, the camera's on. So, dribbly nose. 1 second, I'll just blow my nose. Oh, my buttons have gone to sleep. Hang on. I was going to do an amusing button press then. Let me just quickly repair my buttons. 1 second. Press that. And press that. The joke's dead now because I was going to blow my nose and do that.
Slap it on.
There's no point now, is there? Because it killed it. Thanks, buttons. You slackers. Alright. So, quick blow of the nose. Collins Infestor 67's workshop. I need to blow my nose again. Oh wow, dribbly nose time. Hang on.
Slap it on.
Oh, that was my nose blowing distraction. Let's have a look. What's chat doing very quickly? Paul says tonight for his bench and belly tonight, and curry hopefully, the mighty chicken Rajasthan special with rice and whatever else. Fox trying to build something is like Chris trying to keep up with the chat. Yes. Anyway, right, let's crack on. I was reading the chat there and getting carried away, forgetting that there's, a billion people watching this. I need to keep entertained. So, these are fairly straightforward. I need my helmet of seeing. These are fairly straightforward at this point because it's just clean up and stick torsos on legs. Doesn't really matter which goes where. It's not really fussed as to which legs go on which. Torsos, all the torsos I think are the same, as is the way with these kind of things. I will snip off any little tiny bits of nub with my lovely, lovely God hands. Lovely, lovely God hands. I just don't want to use these getting them off the sprue, because the sprues have got big, massive attachment points, tree attachment points, and that's not going to do me any favours, because I don't want to risk damaging these. As someone who lives in the UK, for me, getting God hand nippers is nigh on impossible, because God hand nippers, if you're in the UK, cost about 45 quid, but also cost about 45 quid to ship. I don't know why, they just do. So it's actually really hard for UK dudes and dudettes to get a pair of God hand, which is why I was very, very grateful when I was gifted these. They're not hard to get, they're just damn expensive to get. Paying basically about 80 or 90 quid for some nippers, which is not cheap. So anyway, what have you guys been up to? I know I asked this yesterday on yesterday's Sidewinder stream, but I always like to ask, what have you been up to, folks? How's your week been? It's the end of the week now. Back to school blues, I'm afraid, for today, but how's your week been? Hopefully it's been a decent week. For Dad, of course, Dad's been poorly sick, so it's been a rubbish week. I got the Conquest video up this week. Tomorrow and Tuesday, I'm hoping to film the next video for the D'Agostini X-Wing build. I've got the next, I think, 4 issues. So I'll be filming that over tomorrow and Tuesday. And hopefully that should go up. That'll go up for patrons a week. The Conquest stuff just goes up straight away, because there's no real building in that, it's just looking at a magazine. So the Conquest stuff goes up straight away for everybody. The X-Wing videos, they go to patrons only for a week into early access, and then they're opened up for everybody else then after a week. So Stewpot's in. Welcome, Stewpot. Colin, I've said Colin's in, but welcome, Colin. Carl at Making Models. Did I say hello to Carl? If not, hello, Carl. How you doing, buddy? Stewpot says, okay, I would like to ask, I have a car and a motorbike, I assume a model, not real, and I would like to do, excuse me, a really high gloss finish. How would you achieve that? Now, I am not the kind of person that makes shiny models. I don't do, cars and planes. Primarily because I haven't got the skills. There's a big nub on there. I haven't got the skills at doing nice, clean models. That's why I don't do clean models. And also, it's not my area of interest. But I do know some things. For example, if you're wanting to get a proper... If you're making a nice, shiny, clean car and you want a proper, nice, shiny finish, there's obviously you're going to be using a gloss varnish. Now, some people are quite happy just to use normal model making gloss varnishes. Your Alclad Aqua Gloss or whatever they've got equivalent. Don't use the Pledge and stuff like that because it's not glossy enough. It's not that kind of gloss varnish. But, some people just like to use model making gloss varnishes, and they're shiny, they're glossy. But if you're wanting that realistic, proper car gloss, you really need to be looking into using actual proper lacquer gloss, automotive lacquer glosses. Now, my terminology is rough here, because I have memories of using them obviously when I was doing car detailing, because we did some car painting as well. I mean real car painting and detailing. So we used to use things like U-Pol, the 2K, was it 2K, 2-pack gloss lacquer coats. They come in big 5-litre cans, but that's proper automotive stuff. So you're really looking at lacquer gloss finishes. Now, the trick is, if you're making a car or something that has a gloss, like a car or motorbike, it's not just a case, if you want that proper to scale realistic glossy finish look that looks like proper automotive paint. The trick is, firstly, when a real car is painted, for the most part, it's very similar to how we would do it. It's a matte paint with a gloss clear coat. You know, you don't get gloss. Very rarely would you ever see a car painted with a gloss paint. There's really no such thing, because gloss paints, the clear coat needs to be tough as old nails to protect the paint. And when we were repainting some vintage cars, it was often water-based paints with lacquer clear coats over the top. My car, which has a rat rod look, is a mixture of water-based Gulf Blue. Well, it's painted with lacquer. I've forgotten the colour now. There's a bronzy colour. It's an Audi colour that I used for the rust undercoat. It's a proper lacquer, automotive lacquer paint, and it's called Ipanema Brown. It's a proper automotive. I think it's a VW colour. No, it's an Audi colour. Ipanema Brown. So the car was painted Ipanema Brown, which is a lacquer, tough and hard wearing. Then we sprayed it with Volkswagen Gulf Blue. Again, these are proper automotive paints, not like model paints. Some Volkswagen Gulf Blue, which is water-based, technically an acrylic. We sprayed that over. But before we did the Gulf Blue, I covered the whole car in Mascol, actual liquid Mascol, you know, proper like Humbrol liquid mask fluid. I've got some here somewhere, to make rust spots. And when the Gulf Blue paint had dried, of course the lacquer is rock hard. The water-based blue paint was easily removed, so we got some Scotch-Brite, pulled off all the masking fluid, and I did rust streaks with Scotch-Brite rubbing off the blue paint. Didn't affect the Ipanema Brown. And then once that had all dried off and finished, we'd done that, we gloss coated it using like U-Pol proper automotive clear coat. Well, it was supposed to be matte actually, but we didn't shake it enough, so one half of my car is matte and one half is a little bit shinier. Yeah. So yeah, if you're wanting to make realistic look or convincing looking cars and vehicles, if you want that finish, it's not just a case of spray on the gloss finish, done. That's not how it works. To get that real smooth, flawless finish, what you have to do is get it on the model, get your gloss coat on there, but then there's the whole process of wet sanding and buffing. Because when you spray a real car, you do all the painting, you then put on your clear coat, and what you'll find is your clear coat will look like absolute garbage, because there'll be fish eyes, there'll be little there'll be little nib marks, little dimples. It won't quite be as shiny as you think it should be. It'll just look like something with a clear coat on it. So what you have to then do is you've got a process of wet sanding down any imperfections, denibbing any little tiny marks, any little pitting or anything like that. And then once that's done, you've got a nice smooth finish, but it's still not quite shiny enough. Then you bring in the machine polishing to really work the shine back, and that's usually a three-stage, at very least three-stage polishing process. So when you're making a model car, it pays to duplicate that process. So you've painted your model vehicle, for example. You then go in with your clear coat, your gloss coat. You apply it. You give it a day or two to fully cure. You then sand out using very fine wet sanding papers. You wet sand out any imperfections like little fish eyes or dimples or anything like that as best you can. And then once that's done, it's the polishing stage, and that's where you're really kind of almost simulating or replicating actual machine polishing that a detailer would do, but just without the machine polishing. You're probably doing it manually, and you're using polishing compounds like Tamir's polishing compound, or you can use proper automotive polishing compounds if you want to. But the trick is to basically bring up the shine and the realistic finish with wet sanding to get rid of any imperfections, and then polishing to get that realistic shine back. And that's how you get proper beautiful shiny paint jobs that look like a professional body shop sprayed it. It may not be 100% fully to scale because the shine will look a bit, but it'll still look fantastic. Now I do forget who it is in the boom hut that's doing a big Sinanju. I do apologise if you're watching, I can't remember who it is that's doing it, but somebody's doing a Sinanju that's all gloss finished and it looks beautiful. And I'm guessing he's used a lot of these techniques, but the trick is to get the gloss coat on and then polishing and sanding and polishing. That's the trick. There are, you know, if you don't want to go that much, you can just get away with using a nice gloss varnish over the matte paint. I wouldn't ever recommend using gloss paints, because gloss paints are garbage for the most part. They never settle right. They're very finicky. They never self-level neatly. They always look terrible. It's better to do a matte paint which will dry flat and smooth and will hide any imperfections, and then go over with the gloss coat of your choice. But the reason I'm suggesting that you use lacquers, and if you can get some proper, you know, I wouldn't say go out and buy a 5-litre drum of U-Pol, but you can get from various places proper lacquer finishes in smaller amounts. And the reason I say use lacquers is because you can't really wet sand and polish acrylic varnishes. They're not tough enough. You want something as tough as old nails, and that's where your lacquers come in. Because once a lacquer coat is on there, you can abuse that quite a lot, and it's not gonna do a lot of harm. I can recommend, to me, polishing compounds are kind of the model making equivalent, and they're supposed to be very good. If you want to use actual proper automotive ones, there is a ton out there, but I do recommend, in terms of easy to get stuff, for a model at least, you don't need to do a full 3-stage machine polish because it's that big. Machine polish is bigger than the model, but you could get away with the 2-stage polish, which I would recommend. Swig of tea. There's a couple of Maguire's microfiber polishing compounds. Now, it's been a few years, so I forget, but there's a couple that are designed. It's a finish. It's basically a polish and a finish, and that's it. It's a 2-stage one, and I think it's D300 was the cutting compound, and it was like a medium all-purpose cutting compound. Or D300 might have been the finishing compound. There's Maguire's microfiber cutting and finishing compound. It's basically cut and finish at 2-stage. So you do your cutting first. On a model in small scale, you might get a soft cloth, and you get your compound on the cloth, and you just work it in small circles with your hand. Now, when you first do the cutting, it might look not very shiny, but it's the polishing that brings it back. I hope that makes all sense. So yes, it's not about just spraying on a gloss, and you can do that and they will look fantastic, but when you've got a gloss coat, any little imperfections or specks of dust, they'll make a little dimple or even a pimple in the surface, and you'll see it. And that's why, even if you're not going to do all the polishing, anything like polishing, you don't want to, you might need to do some wet sanding to get those out, and then once you've done that, you'll need to polish it back to get it shiny again. So yes. Quick look at the chat. I think the chat's jumped about 1 million places. I've just put that there, haven't I? Where are we? But if you want a really, really high gloss finish, that's how it's going to be spraying it on. Also, as well, when you've put your gloss coat on there, do your best to make sure the entire environment is completely dust-free as much as possible. If you've got a spray booth, this is what we used to do in an actual proper body shop spray booth. If you've got a spray booth that you're working in, before you start spraying, turn on the spray booth, give it 5 minutes to suck out as much as it can, and then get a squirty bottle, a spray bottle, with just water, and spray the sides of the spray booth, the top, the floor, everything, even the foam at the back. Spray it all to make it damp. The reason you do that, as you do in a real spray, in a real body shop, is that moist surface, any dust that falls onto it will stick to it. So it's less likely that anything that falls onto that surface will be trapped in the moisture. So it's less likely to then be blown up again if you move around or if the fan kicks, anything like that. It won't suddenly puff the dust up again. So it just helps reduce the dust even more. So make sure it's moist and damp. I put tissue down on the bottom of my spray booth anyway, and I spray water, not dripping wet, just so it's moist and damp, because it just helps anything stick to it. And then when you finish spraying, make sure you're putting your finished gloss varnished thing, as soon as you've finished it, in something that's not sealed, but that's covered, get like a plastic food tub and have it out. Like, say I just gloss varnished that, I'd I'd get it done, I'd put it down, I'd put like a food tub over it, but I'd have something underneath just to make a little gap so the air can cook. Because it needs to cure, it needs to, gas off its chemicals. But it means that dust isn't falling on it. Because if it's a lacquer, it can take quite a while before it's fully cured, and it can still, be picking up dust and stuff. So, quick look through the chat. Chris, I really should be doing the Baneblade, but I'm not going to, says Chris at Gross Models. Ooh, bad boy. People talking about something. Chris procrastinating. What is this tomfoolery about which you speak? I may be procrastinating. I'll check later. Model Officer is in. Welcome, Model Officer. Afternoon one and all. Checking in while I'm at work. Totally Scale Models is in as well. Welcome. Welcome, Totally Scale. Chris says, I may nap if I go quiet. That's probably why. Are you an old man? Are you an old man now? You've got to nap. Conversations going on and on and on. Team Inept apparently bans everyone. I don't quite know why. 2 times more shine, says Andy. Everything's jumped. I've lost track of the chat. I thought I was here for a Warhammer stream, not a Top Gear episode, says Eric. Same level of incompetence in both, says Paul. Which Top Gear presenter would you be? Obviously, I'd be Hammond, says Chris. Paul says Fox is James May, Chris is Hammond, which leaves me to be Clarkson. Hashtag Team Inept. Clarkson, you oaf. So on my model, my Dremel and Tamiya polishing, I will look into this. These are Tamiya kits, says Stuart Pop. Yeah, if you've got a Dremel that's got a variable speed and it can go really, really slowly, then you do get little fluffy attachments for those, which are effectively, if you don't know what machine polishing is, when you machine polish an actual car, it's a big device that you hold like that, and it's got a spinny disc on it that you put varying pads on, and the pads can be anything from rough sanding to do a proper cut to big fluffy woolly things when you're doing your final polishing and you're getting the real shine back. So yeah, you can do that. It's a quick way of doing it. Get your Dremel on a really slow speed and just work the polish in. It's just better than doing it by hand, but it needs to be you can't have a Dremel at full speed. It's got to go really quite slowly, because you're just replacing the action of you doing that on the surface, which is tedious. George is in. Welcome, George. George, my very, very good friend George, who is making this entire build series possible. Thank you, Fox. That sounds like good hard work. Oh, yes. Does that mean Ted is the Stig, says Cynical Steve? That's cruel but hilarious. Ascension Industries pops in and says, hey, Fox, just saying hello on my way to work. Welcome, Ascension Industries. Lim Cinderin says, I think I've limited my possible camphor colour schemes to possible steel from 40k. Fox is a big, fluffy, woolly thing, says Chris. That's fairly true. Right, I think we're up to date on chat, so let's do some more. So I've cleaned up one set of legs. Nice set of gams. How's the audio, folks? How's my talkie today? How's it coming out? Does it sound all right with this new limiter I've added into it? I'm getting the hang of talking quietly a little bit. I do go a bit loud here and there, but if I can talk quietly, it's nice, because then I get more. I want to be more, I don't know. I want to be more the quiet voiceover on a Horizon program than Chris Evans doing Top Gear and shouting like a loon because the man's a complete rude word I'm not going to say. Yeah, that's what I'd much rather be, talking quietly, because it's more intimate. It's like me talking to you and you sat right next to me and I'm showing you how to do stuff. That's what I like. Tell me more about this limiting stuff, says Chris. Limiters it's a device that you use on an audio input to effectively just limit the range. So, for example, if you're just talking into a microphone, your volume may go from loud to quiet, up and down as you get excited about something. One bit might be quiet, one bit might be loud, and it means, when it's recording that, sometimes it might be dead quiet, sometimes it might be dead loud. Occasionally you might go too loud and you'll clip. You go hot and clipping. A limiter just does its best to limit how much signal can actually get through. So I might limit it to, -4 decibels, and it might be like, I don't want the volume of the talking to be louder than minus 4 decibels. So basically, anything under 4 decibels, it might boost a little bit. But anything over 4 decibels, it will just stop at that point, and you can get a bit clippy. But it just means, it's especially if you're doing singing, like if you're doing audio recording of singing, it means that the audio feed has a more consistent sound. It's not up and down volume wise, it's more consistent. And it does mean that I tend to it's less risk of talking normally and then going dead loud. Because you know, when you'll know this from streaming, it's in Streamlabs, that's what I'm telling you. You can set your volume, you can do a little test on your volume and be like, talking, test, I'm testing the audio now, blah, blah, blah. And you get it just right, and then when you go live, you end up talking louder because you get carried away. And it's just clipping and horrible. So it just limits, it sets an upper limit to the audio from an audio input. So if you go into Streamlabs, Chris, and you go to your mixer, go to the mixer on the right hand side where it's got microphone or whatever you've called it, Yeti, or the input for your microphone. Click on the little cogwheel that's for that specific audio input, and you've got filters. I've got a noise gate, a noise suppressor, and a limiter is also a filter on there. And you'd have to experiment to figure out the best setting for your setup. But I can't remember what mine's at now. It might be like minus 20 decibels or something. And then if you have no limiter and you look at the meter and talk really loudly, or just go bah dead loud into the microphone, you'll see it go up and it might clip. If you then increase the limiter as you keep making the noise, the level meter will drop down because you're setting a limit. You're saying, here's the entire audio track, don't go beyond above that. So if you're talking and the meter's saying you hear it like plus 10 decibels and you set a limiter here, it'll go and cut it back. So it does introduce some artifacts. It's not brilliant, but it's a handy little thing. And it does give me that slightly voiceover radio kind of sound, I think. Streamlabs settings, I shall check. Yeah, it's just the settings on your microphone settings. There's lots of different ones in there. I've also upped my noise gate a little bit to try and cut out fan noise. Now, the thing you'll need to remember, Chris, is you'll have to do different settings for different setups. For example, the settings I've got here, where the microphone is just there, is totally different to when I'm doing an elite stream where the microphone is like off to the side, maybe 2 feet away, because I'll have different volume settings. So you need to tailor them to each individual thing. So if the microphone is always in the same place for your Warhamster stream, you can tailor those settings to that. If you have it in a different place when you're doing something else, like say the E-Models live stream, you need to then tailor the settings in that particular scene as well. So you have to go through each one by one. Fox will go on for the next 40 minutes about this stuff. How you know me too well. And of course we have Skullfish. Skullfish is in. Skullfish. I haven't got a button. I've only got one button.
Slap it on.
And that's not the right button. Do. Tommy Deporter is in, says hello, greetings from Belgium, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in, Tommy, you're more than welcome. Hope you have some fun with us today. Why are decibels always minus? I don't know. I don't know that much. Nimsindarian says, if anyone's interested, this is the colour scheme for her camphor. If anyone is interested, the 7 chapters I've pared it down to are Avenging Suns, Necropolis Hawks, Storm Wardens, Dark Crusaders, Masters of Proteus, Tempest Guards, and Raven's Watch. So I think she's trying to pare down the colour scheme for her camphor to one of those. Skullfish says, sorry, I know nothing about these things. Model Officer says, good info on the microphone settings. It's a nightmare, audio settings, they really are. Because you've got volume setting on the microphone itself as well, and you think you get it in one... My microphone's moved, hang on. You think you get it in one place and it'd be set, but then as soon as you move it an inch away for something else, you have to change it all. Oh. And sometimes a setting that's perfect one day will be not perfect the next day, and it's quite frustrating. This is why, if I ever become successful at this nonsense, I live for the day when somebody else will take care of things like camera and audio and setting up streams and making sure everything's in focus and I don't have to think about it. Because all I want to do is get on camera and talk and show how to do things. I don't want to be farting about with focusing and planning that, and it's a pain in the bum. But it's a necessary evil, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Get rid of these seam lines. I think what I was about to talk about. I'm not really sure, really. Yes, I've got up to issue 70 of these. So if you're not familiar, if you've not seen one of these before, basically my original plan was that each month I would take a few days out of each month to film the four issues that I received that month and get them built and painted. And what I was going to do was, for the majority of them, just paint them like the magazine suggests. So basically just show you how to paint them like the magazine tells you. And then for some of them, like some of the characters and special unique things, I do a proper full-on advanced technique paint job. But I quickly realised that it was a major pain in the backside. It was a lot of work, and I was really just parroting what the magazine was telling. There's no point. I realised there was no point me showing you how to paint things like the magazine says, because that's what the magazine's for. It was a waste of time. So what I'm doing now is just going through and building them all. And once they're all built, we'll then start properly painting all of them. And that'll be a good year's worth of video content there. You know, this week we're painting Plague Marines. This week we're painting the Plague Burst Crawler. This week we're painting the Land Speeder. And just going through slowly and doing that, basically. That's the plan. But they'll all get proper paint jobs. What I'm going to do is basically ignore the magazine. Now, I have obviously done quite a few of the figures already following the magazine. But they will just get stripped. And we'll start again on those. They'll just get stripped down. It's not a biggie. So you can expect that to be. Obviously, when I'm doing the painting, though, that's not going to be live streamed. That'll be proper how to paint videos. And we'll tailor it. So I'm not going to do 45 videos. I'm not going to do like 40 videos of painting an individual poxwalker, for example. I'll do them in groups. Like, here's how to paint a poxwalker. Here's how to paint a plague marine. Here's how to paint a space marine. Go off and do the rest. So I'll break them down into individual units. Now you can tell these are old because there's some bitchy seam lines on here. Heinous seam lines. Oh, sniffly today, I do apologise. Some absolute killer seam lines. Mould lines even. What are these? 2005, I think? It said on the sprue. 2005. That's like a million years ago, that is. Oh, here you go. You know, now I'm getting older. Here's a handbrake. I like to do these handbrake turns where I change the subject all of a sudden. This is an "is it just me" thing, and this is for British viewers. I like to binge watch. I've developed the liking of binge watching. So when I'm having my tea at night, I'll watch something, and I'll line up a series with like 5 seasons, and then when I have my tea, I'll watch another episode, and it keep me going for months and months. It's the only chance I really get to watch TV of any kind, you know, without actually watching TV. And I was at a loss for something to watch because I watched everything now that I've binged. And I was on the BBC website, on BBC iPlayer, and I saw that there were like 20 seasons of Silent Witness. And I was like, well, I've never actually watched Silent Witness, but it's crime and it's you know, it's crime and it's pathology, and that's interesting. I find that interesting. It's like Serious Bones. I can go for that. I don't like CSI and stuff like that because it's all glamorous nonsense. But I thought, yeah, watching one episode a night whilst tea isn't binge watching there. Well, yeah, I say one. It might be more like 3 because I'll watch one and then I'll watch the next one. So anyway, I thought, you know what? I'll give this a go. Because if it's any good, then I've got like 20 seasons of it. It'll keep me going for a little while. I started on season 6 because that's the first season they've got. And my God, it's terrible. Is it me? Or is it terrible? It's like, oh, this is not what... Oh, God. I'm sat there and I'm watching it and I'm like, this is like an episode of... This is like watching Casualty mixed with a bad episode of The Bill. And then I found out watching the credits that the writer was Tony McHale, who used to write for The Bill and Holby City. And I'm like, oh God, they've got the cheesy actors that you see all the time in soap operas, and the writing's terrible, and it was full of things where, you know, like when you're watching a program and people do things that you just wouldn't do in real life because they need to make the plot more complex. For example, you know, it'd be like, did you see what happened? And Guy would put on the most obvious shifty face you can imagine. It was like playing L.A. Noire, where they had to make the shifty faces really obvious. Most obvious shifty face, and go, I saw nothing at all. And you know, of course he did. He saw something. And the police would be like, okay, fine. And it'd be like, why did you not just... And it wasn't... And there was no real reason for that person to say that. And it's like, why didn't you just tell them? Oh, and so it's really badly written. And for some reason, all the police are complete jerks and not likeable. I've watched about 3 different of the 2-episode stories now. The police are all jerks every time. It's like, oh, and it's terrible. I can't watch it. I couldn't watch it. There's very little actual crime drama, and it's like watching Casualty with bad acting. And I'm like, the regular cast members, the people you follow, they're all right, but it's the police and the extras, the other... It's like, I can't... So I soldiered through about 6 episodes, which is the 3 different storylines, and I thought, I can't watch anymore. I'll have to abandon this. So I was sad that I found something with like 20 seasons and I can't watch it because it's absolute garbage. My ex's mum used to love that programme. I'm like, wow, how did she even like this programme? Oh... Eric Graham says, so what Warhammer TV does? Oh, you mean like about having somebody else do the cameras and audio? Yes. Basically, if I was successful enough, I could, employ someone to be a producer. Because I'll tell you, the worst thing about doing YouTube is that if you're small like me, you have to do it all. And all I want to do is make models and show you how to make models. But unfortunately, editing, producing, camera work, lighting, audio, there's all that as well. And it's, I'm not a cameraman, I'm not a lighting engineer, I'm not a producer. I just want to make models and be goofy on the telly, and So, if I won the lottery, or if I could somehow do it, I would just get someone to be the camera and lighting and production guy. Because then, I can just focus on doing what I'm doing. It would be nice. Not seen it, but you can't start any show on season 6. I think you can with Silent Witness because there's no real... It doesn't really matter. I think going back to like 2002 or 3, I don't think it was, that essential that you know the characters that well. It's not like you couldn't watch Bones from season 6 onwards because there's too much stuff. But I got the impression with this, it was like watching Casualty. It doesn't matter when you start watching Casualty, or anything like that. It doesn't really matter. I was like, oh God, this is terrible. Because it really was like a terrible episode of The Bill combined with a terrible episode of Casualty, which I haven't watched in a long, long time. Wow, because it was always like... The first one I watched was there was like some kind of crash between a truck and a car and a van. And it was like, hang on. We start off with lots of little vignettes of people in their different vehicles, and then there's a big crash. I'm like, am I just watching Casualty from 1998? You start off with like the family in the car, and then the slightly tired truck driver, and then the 2 men arguing in the saloon car, and then there's a man with mysterious injuries in the car, and I'm thinking they're all going to crash. There's going to be a big crash. Oh, there's a big crash. I was like, wow, this is just Casualty, and it was terrible. It was terrible. Did you see anything? I saw nothing at all. In the back of his mind, I saw all the things, and I know who did the crime, and I'm going to say nothing. Just terrible. Terrible. What was that one with the? What was the one with the guy that was? I don't know. It was the actor that played Eddie Shoestring. Anybody outside the UK won't know what the hell I'm talking about. The actor that played Eddie Shoestring. He was in some series where they did cold cases or pathology or something like that. What was that? That was quite good. I also like New Tricks. New Tricks was good. Yeah, God, Silent Witness. I survived 6 episodes, and I'll tell you, I'm never going to watch them again. I'm like, there's no way. I can't watch it. It's just so bad. They took a load of like average actors that you've seen in everything. You're like, oh God, it's him. And, oh God, it's that one. You know, wannabes, and it just, it was terrible. It was a shocking experience. Let's just leave it at that. Who in their right mind starts at season 6? If you go to the BBC iPlayer, it starts at season 6. There is no season 1 to 5, so I had no choice. But I kind of guessed it would be all right. Right. Talking of me getting wealthy enough to employ lighting cameraman and producers, if you would like to support this channel, there are multiple ways you can. I do this for a living, so I depend on you guys to help support me completely. If you'd like to support this channel, there's lots of little handy links in the description below this video for my Amazon store, for Goblin Gaming, who's an affiliate link. If you use that link, it tells them that I sent you and I make a little bit of income. Also, you can, if you want to, you can support me on, I'll put that in chat, so that's Goblin Gaming, and hopefully my buttons are working. Yep, you can do Goblin Gaming, or you can support me directly on Patreon, patreon.com/model making guru, if you'd like to directly support me. Failing that, of course, you can just do super chats. I earn income from super chats, but if the easiest way, the cheapest way to support me is just to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And don't forget, if you are new to this, there's a few people in here I haven't seen before. If you are new to this, don't forget I do run a group on Facebook, the Model Makers Boom Hut. It's the friendliest place for model making around. There's no bitching, no snark. Everybody's supportive. It's a nice, friendly sort of place where you can show off your work. And if you're an absolute beginner, just finding your way in the world of model making, you'll find lots of support and help there and advice. Because everybody in there knows that we all started somewhere. Everybody has to learn to drive. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Scale Model Muse, welcome Scale Model Muse. Says, tardy for the party, but I'm here. Morning, Fozzie and all. Welcome, welcome. Excuse me, sniffles. You need to watch from season 1. That one constantly reference to the other episodes in each and every episode. You might be better watching The Bill or Heartbeat in that show. I've got to tell you, about 3 years ago, I binge watched all of The Bill. And I mean, not like, well, put it this way. I started with 1984 Wooden Tops. The episode Wooden Tops in 1984. And I found an archive of every episode of The Bill. So I actually binge watched I love The Bill. I actually binge watched The Bill all the way from 1984, the first ever episode, all the way through to about, I think I got to about 2002, and that's when it started to become a bit soap opera-y, and it became a bit garbage, and I stopped watching. But yeah, so yeah. Oh, I've watched don't you doubt me. Before there was an internet, every Sunday, UK TV, they'd have like 5 episodes of The Bill. That's where I'd be on a Sunday, watching every episode of The Bill. But yeah, The Bill, I love The Bill. Rod Skase, what a plonker. Oh, Rod Skase, bless him. Bill's top. Hello, what models are we on? And while I will be jumping doing... I'll start that again. Eon's car comes in. Hello all, what models are we on? And I be jumping doing Shepherd's Pie. I am building the pack of Space Marine Scouts for the Warhammer Conquest, which apparently are a living nightmare because they've got the not labelled arms for weapons, which I might have some fun with. Because I fell foul of that with my Deathcore Krieg, and they went back into the box in a huff, and I've not looked at them since. Or back into the bag. I want to do a Deathcore Krieg army, but they make me grumpy because I can't figure out how to do the arms. So I've decided I will just have to pay someone to build my Deathcore Krieg figures for me. Not paint them, just build them. And not when you get like a pack of 2, like say a mortar team, 2 dudes. I can figure that out. When you get a pack of 10 guys, you don't know which arms go where. Yeah, I'm not living through that again. Shepherd's pie. People talk about shepherd's pie. Gaz Vicker says, I have arrived, fear my wedge cheeks. Muhaha. I don't want to know about wedge cheeks, thank you very much. Gaz Vickers, I was watching a space rocket go boom. Was it the test launch of the escape thing? Or did it go to space today? It will not go to space today. What else has been going on? Yeah, so I got the Conquest video up. I'm going to be doing the X-Wing video tomorrow and Tuesday. Hopefully that should be up Tuesday or Wednesday for Patreoniums, and a week later for everybody else. I have started playing. I'll start that again. Started playing Skyrim again one day, because I think it was last Sunday. I think I finished playing Elite for these on Saturday for the Saturday stream, and I thought, well, I kind of fancy staying on the Xbox now, but I didn't really want to play anything else. I couldn't play Elite because I have to go back to my own profile, and I kind of like flying the Sidewinder now. So I thought, I'll give Skyrim. I got to play Skyrim. So I loaded it up, and everything was broken because half the mods didn't work anymore. So I had to start a new game. So I started a new game. And I'd forgotten how much I like Skyrim. And I'm sitting there thinking, I should have started doing a Skyrim stream, not an Elite Dangerous stream. God damn it. I'm playing through it at the moment. I've got mods, but I'm not doing any cheaty mods. I started off with some, but because I had to start again a second time because the mods broke again. So what I've done is I'm playing with, it's on Xbox as always, but I'm playing with some enhancement mods. So I've got things like the unofficial patch mod that gets rid of fixes a lot of bugs. I've got some lighting mods and some flora and fauna, flora mods that add trees and grass and stuff. They're mostly like environmental mods. I've not got any... Oh, hello, somebody did something. What was that? Hang on, I can't read that because it's too big and goes off the side of the screen. That was a little a tip to the tip jar. Never going to catch George, but every little helps. Thank you very much for that, Steve. That was a tip to the tip jar, so that will be sitting in the tip jar now. I think the tip jar is up to a tenner, just so you know. There's a tenner in the tip jar, just shy of a tenner at the moment, because it's early days. So don't forget, yes, if you want to have a chance of winning, potentially usually, because I vary it, but it's usually between 300 to 500 quid worth of stuff, of budget to spend, in the tip jar, then get your tips coming through. It's never going to catch George. You never know, you might do. Because it might be that everybody does lots of little tips all the way through, and then right at the end, you put a fiver tip through or something right at the very end, and that might be all it takes to get George to 0. Because the trick is to remember what the hell I was talking about before that happened. I've got no idea now. I literally can't remember what I was talking about before. Yeah, the trick is to try and put as little as money into the tip jar as possible and get as much out of it. So over the course of, a stream boss battle, you might have put, say, 50 or 60 or 70 quid into the tip jar, but if you get 500 quid out, bonus. What was I talking about before? Oh. I think I'd be divorced if I blew 500 quid like that, says Cynical Steve. Well, it wouldn't though, would you? Because if it was the tip jar, you may have only put, say, 20 or 30 quid in. Everybody else is putting tips in. It's a community pot, basically. Think of it this way. The simplest way to think of it is you're in a restaurant and there's a jar on the counter, and you can put as much or as little as you want in the jar. And when the jar gets to a certain amount, the manager comes out and says, congratulations to the person who put the money in last. Congratulations, you just won all the money in the jar. So that's it. That's how it works. You're all putting money in a jar, but you don't know when the winning point is. I mean, you will, because it will say that you're the new stream boss. So your missus will have only seen you spend 5 or 10 quid. You might have only put 5 or 10 quid in. I think you should be more than happy that you're spending 500 quid of somebody else's money on Warhammer and not 500 quid of your money. Skyrim mods. Oh, that's it. Right, there you go. Yeah, so I've got some just things like, I've not got any cheaty mods like infinite carry weight or infinite health or anything like that. I thought I'll play it vanilla because I tried with some of those, but they tend to break the game and it falls over quite a lot. So I've just gone for environmental mods. So I've got things like, the bug fix mod, an official patch. I've got some lighting and weather mods. I've got one that makes it a more realistic time, so a day is less like, you don't go through a whole day in 5 minutes. It takes more like an hour and a half, 2 hours to go through from sun up to sundown, which is nice. Because I got sick of I'll leave this village, it's daytime. By the time I get a mile down the road, it's night time. Then it's daytime again. What else have I got? Just little sort of quality of life mods. Nothing that affects me. It doesn't make... I've not got any you can do armory better. I have got a thing that apparently improves aiming with bows, because I always play as an archer. I go for ranged. I've got a thing that makes the reticle a bit more usable. It actually, puts the reticle where the arrow's going to go, roughly. You still have to account for gravity, though. I forgot that. And I'm like, why can't I hit anything? Oh, because of gravity. Oh, yeah, good point. And I've just downloaded the other day the Beyond Skyrim Broomer mod. If you like your Skyrim... Oh, excuse me. It is a mod that adds a whole new area of gameplay. It adds a Broomer, which is just in Cyrodiil, which is just south of Skyrim. It has a whole massive area. And the Beyond Skyrim project, a group of people that are actually hoping to make the entire area of Cyrodiil into Skyrim with all the quests and missions, and there's something like 25,000 lines of new dialogue with proper voice actors, and I've not actually gone across the border yet, but it's supposed to be very, very good. Lots of quests and stuff, so I've got to give that a try. Which is I'm looking forward to that, and it's all free, and it's a massive mod. I mean, a massive load of content. So I'm just leveling my way up a little bit so I can go and have a play with that. And the beauty of it is, of course, I'm on Xbox, so I can get all those mods. If you're on PlayStation, you're a bit screwed. Because on PC, you can have whatever mod you want. On Xbox, you can have pretty much most of them, as long as the person that made the mod for PC has made one for Xbox. You're golden. On PlayStation owners got shafted. Because on PlayStation, they haven't allowed any mods that require new content. All the mods in the PlayStation store for Skyrim are restricted to those that recycle existing in-game content, which is a bit rubbish. Because there's loads of mods with skins and texture packs and weather packs and sound packs and adds lots of trees and stuff and changes the climate. You can't have them on PlayStation because they add new items that don't exist in the game. And I think that's a bit pants, really. Well done, PlayStation. You ruined it for everybody. So if you have a choice between Xbox and PlayStation, you want to play some Skyrim, get it on Xbox because you've got more freedom. If you've got the option of both. Or PC, of course, where you can have everything. I wouldn't even know what to buy with all that cabbage. Let me have this as a TTG. Yeah, so, just as an idea, when George won, George beat Simon out for Stream Boss. George won just shy of... He got about 480 quid. He ordered loads of box sets and books and stuff. When Simon became Stream Boss, he ordered... I can't remember what he ordered now, but it was tons and tons of stuff. It was about the same amount, about 490 quid. He won. He ordered loads of stuff. So, and it's basically if you win, if you become the stream boss, you don't win the physical money, because that involves money laundering laws, and I don't want to get involved in that. What you win is a budget. So you win the money in the jar. I say, right, you've won this much money. So I might say, right, the jar contains £450. Tell me what you want me to order, and I will go to Games Workshop or Forge World, and I will order the things for you to your address or to your local store, whichever you prefer. Now, it is restricted. Something pinged. What pinged? Digitari subscribed. Welcome, Digitari. Actually, I need to change something. Don't know why it didn't tell me that, but never mind. Welcome, Digitari. Yeah, the reason I say it's got to be Games Workshop or Forge World is it's to help you have more money to play with. Because if you order from let's say you live in Spain, and I send you something from the UK, it's going to cost a fortune in shipping, or wherever you are in the world. It's going to cost you in shipping, and you're going to have to take some of the budget for shipping, and then you have customs charges as well. That sucks. That might take 2/3 of your winnings to pay for shipping and customs charges. However, if you win and you say, right, I want this, that, and the other, and you live in, let's say, random country Spain, could be any country. All I do is, in the case, for example, with George, he wanted to buy a load of things. I went to the Games Workshop store. I changed my delivery country from UK to US. I said, please buy all these things and deliver them to George's local store. And do you know how much shipping it cost him? Nothing. And there was no import charges because it's from US to US. So the reason I say you've got to go through Games Workshop or Forge World is because if it means 100% of your winnings can be spent on goodies and not on shipping and import charges. And as most countries have Games Workshop or Warhammer stores, you're fairly good. You should be good. If you're in the EU or the UK, you can, of course, if you want to, use Goblin Gaming. Because Goblin Gaming, there would be shipping and import charges, but the advantage there is, of course, that everything would be 20% cheaper than Games Workshop charges, the prices for Games Workshop stuff. So it's a trade-off. You might then have to pay for shipping and import, but that might be covered by the fact you're paying 20% less for the actual products. Right, we'll have a quick look at chat, and we'll get these glued onto the bases, and then we'll have a swig of tea. Right, so let's have a look and see. Cynical Steve said, I would splurge it on the Forge World Smaug for a start. Yeah, I include Forge World as well. However, the thing with Forge World is, if anything goes wrong with it, if there's a piece that's miscast and replacing, you're on your own. I'm not involved. I'd give you all the receipt numbers and stuff, and you'd be on your own. Paul Di Tommaso is in. Hello, everybody, says Paul. Hey, Paul. Ian's car says, with my scouts, I've gone for 2 bolt guns, a shotgun, a heavy bolter, and a bolt pistol with a chainsword. I've not really thought about the weapons I'm going to put on them. ATTG says, I probably end up buying a Rhino, 2 Razorbacks, a Venerable Land Raider, and getting started Deathwatch set. That will be a new army all on its own. Because don't forget, of course, if you won, let's say 400 quid, most start collecting sets are like 60 quid. So you can have like 3 or 4 start collecting sets and stuff on top of that. It's amazing what you can get. Not played for years, just like the building and raiding of sprues for Greebly, says Steve. I'm not going to play the game, I just like the sculpt, says Nim. Philly says, I seem to be building 3 armies somehow. No intention of playing the game, but I have the beginnings of Blood Angels, Genestealer Cult, and Orc armies. Chris says he's accidentally started all the Orc stuff. Paul says, all is good, Fox, and no, I can't play with the wife because she's at home. How's your wife? Oh, that was funny yesterday. Right, so let's have a swig of tea. Swig of tea. Oh, some news updates on this Warhammer Conquest. I have found out some things. Well, I found out one thing. My moustache is still absorbing half my tea.
Pika pika!
Hello, that was something. Digitary had donated £10. Got to be Forge World, probably the Atreus tank. Thank you very much, Digitary. That's very, very kind of you. That's very, very, well, I say very, very kind. It's going into the community pot. Yes, the Atreus tank. Is that the big super heavy one, the Space Marine one? That would be awesome. What's George on now? George is on 93,000. Yes. George strangely hasn't been promoting himself in the chat. Don't forget, of course, with Stream Boss, it can go a bit funky because George can also put money in the pot. But if George puts money in the pot, he gets health back. He can regenerate health, but that makes the pot bigger. So imagine the pot, because I vary the total, so I'm not going to tell you what the total is, but imagine the pot was, say, 400 quid. And every time somebody donated, George donated the same amount. That pot will become 800 quid. Because he puts stuff in his health. You see what I mean? George can really mess with your chi if he wants to. Yeah, it's good fun. But thank you very much for that, Digitary. It's very kind of you. And for your subscription too. Yes, I did find out that this Warhammer Conquest set will not be coming with decals. They're not going to provide decals. Somebody actually asked the Conquest community team. And they said, no, we're not doing decals. Because somebody asked me about it. So if you are looking at doing this set, then you will have to get your own decals. Now you can get, I mean, if you've built some Warhammer anyway, you're going to have decals for these, for Space Marines and Imperial side, because you get a set of decals anyway every time you get a pack. And if you're really desperate, you can get them on eBay and other places. People sell their spare decals. Like you might buy a pack of 5 Space Marines and there'll be like enough decals for 10 or 20 on there. So even if you've only built a handful of Warhammer sets, you'll have a big pile of spare decals. Don't worry about it. So we're sticking the legs on. Now remember, my way of doing things when it comes to things like legs, arms and torsos, because they're a little bit load bearing, a little bit, I use the regular thick Tamiya glue first, just to get a bit of surface tension and squidge in there so it sticks in place. If I use just regular Tamiya extra thin on its own, then those legs would be falling off right now. But because I've used fat regular Tamiya cement, which is that stuff, they stick a bit. Because the glue is doing its work, but there's also, it's a gloopy cement, so it has a little bit of to it, so it sticks it in place just by pure surface tension. So I'll glue the legs on first with this, and then we can go back in with the extra thin. Now the regular Tamiya cement it's a nice strong cement, but it's not quite as much of a welding cement as the extra thin. This stuff is a bit like your traditional, you know, Revell contact glue or the Citadel glue, anything that's thick and gloopy and stodgy. It's a bit like that. It's not quite as strong as a welding effect, say, as Tamiya extra thin. So I'll always, when I do, like especially things like arms, gluing legs to bases, things like that, I'll always use the thick glue first, just to squidge it on, and then I'll run the extra thin, because the extra thin will really melt the plastic together properly in a way that the fat glue won't. The fat glue will melt the plastic a bit and weld it together, but just not as much. Not as much. So yeah, so we're not going to get decals with these, which is a bit of a shame. Because I mean, you're not really going to get decals for the Death Guard. I don't know if there are any decals for Death Guard anyway. I think a lot of them are just like roughly painted, hand-painted sigils on those things, but it is a shame that they couldn't just have provided you some decals. I'm going to go in with the extra thin now, just to complete the welding process. Yeah, you think they could have just said with this issue, like for example, the one where they send you, when they send you the last bit for the Space Marine repulsor tank, and all you're going to get is the base and the clear piece. Would it have hurt them to include a couple of sheets of decals in with that? That'd be fine. That'd be cool. Because you wouldn't need a lot. I mean, you're going to have... Well, actually, you might need a lot. You're going to have what? I can't remember how many there are now, but it's like 20 Space Marines and... Okay, yeah, you might need quite a lot, actually. But it wouldn't have hurt them to just, you know... I mean, they've done sets where they've given you... It's not like there haven't been sets with 50 quid worth of stuff and they've charged you $7.99 for it. So it wouldn't really kill them to just throw in some decal sheets, really, would it? I mean, come on. The whole point is... Although having said that, of course, the problem then is that they are doing the painting guides as if you're doing Ultramarines, which is boring. And not everybody wants to do Ultramarines. But then again, when you buy the models, it's assumed that you want to do Ultramarines. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a shame. I think at the very least, even if they don't want to include them for the general packs, they should have perhaps included them as a premium reward. Like, you know, if you're on the premium pack, why not give, as well as, you know, yes, it's nice that we get the war gear packs. What was that? That was... Something happened. Shin Hisoka has subscribed. Thank you very much, Shin. Very kind of you. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Yeah, while it's very nice that they give you the war gear packs with the play mat and the dice and stuff, how about you threw in some decals as well? Would have been nice. Philly says they should throw in a few sheets of decals, really, with the amount it costs in total. Don't forget, though, you are paying 700 odd quid for about 1,100 quid worth of stuff, so you are getting a massive deal anyway. They are losing a bit of money on this. Somebody is somewhere. Then again, actually, probably not. It's Games Workshop. Everything's overpriced anyway. But yeah, they could have thrown some decals in. Let's have a look. Beyond Hope says... Stewpot says, how do you accidentally start an Orc army? To Chris. It's because everybody keeps buying him Orc stuff. I got him a Tau... not Tau. I got him a Taurox Prime, but then everybody keeps buying him Orc things. Beyond Hope says, get the new Adeptus Sororitas models. The new Triumph of St. Catherine is £65, but it has 7 individual models. Cool. You know how you crap at something when you haven't done it for ages? Well, decals, says Skullfish. Yeah, decals are easy. You can't go wrong. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Mordraka says, you're able to get the Silver Templar decals with the new special offer that Fox should be getting in February if he did not opt out of it. You don't get decals with that. Hang on. Yeah, not that I'm painting Silver Templars anyway. I happen to have in my hand a piece of paper. I think in February. We should have got it last month, but it's late. It's delayed. Now it does show the painting guide, decals, sprues, and paints. However, I think that's an old picture. I'm just reading through it now. It says, the 36-page paint guide, this is if you're a premium subscriber. It says, paint your Warhammer Conquest army to an exceptional standard. The 36-page paint guide has been exclusively designed to help you paint your new models to an exceptional standard by following the simple step-by-step process laid out within. Now, there was a very old, many years ago, you could buy a booklet like that had the how to paint things. This is before like Duncan and that lot did videos. They had this flip book paint guide, and at first I'm thinking that's what this is. It's just that it's not exclusive. It's just they haven't produced it for a long time. I don't know though, because it seems to focus on Silver Templars, which is very strange, seeing as we're not actually painting Silver Templars. Why 2/3 of the way through the process would they get you to suddenly say, right, you can paint them a totally different colour now? Why would they? I don't understand that. There's something hokey here going on. Plus you'll get... Oh, no, I take it back. I've not read it properly. Plus you'll get 5 multi-part plastic Primaris intercessors, a Primaris Lieutenant, a selection of new paints, and water slide transfers of the heraldry and iconography of the Silver Templars chapter. I take it back. I hadn't read that bit. In that case, you do get all that. Wow. Okay, that's not bad in that case. They're giving you some decals, but it's for these guys. Okay, I didn't get that. I totally didn't read that paragraph. I take it back. You do get all that. Right, we should get that next month then. That's all right then. Because I must admit, that's quite a nice little extra to have for the premium pack. I must admit, looking at the Age of Sigmar part work that's just been announced and just launched, when you look at what premium subscribers for this get, which is the 4 war gear packs with dice, boards, and data cards, and a nice spanky box that's really not much use. Compared to what Age of Sigmar guys get, they get packs of dudes from other factions, because you're making Nighthaunt and the whatever they're called, the Storm Raven chapter dude gold thing, whatever they're called, Stormcast Eternals, but you get a load of other guys like Skaven and Oryx and stuff. If you're going to choose between this or the Age of Sigmar one, I think the Age of Sigmar one, you get more bang for your buck, because you get a load of dudes. But yeah, I know, I didn't realise that. I didn't read that paragraph at all, so I didn't realise you're getting plastic. So yeah, they're giving you this guide to how to paint properly with 5 dudes to paint and the decals, which is in a way is weird, because it's like, we're painting Ultramarines. Why are you suddenly sending us 5 more and doing them as Silver Templars? It's really weird. I mean, it's a nice little extra, don't get me wrong. It's really weird. But yeah, that Age of Sigmar one, that looks like I say, we get some nice playboards. They get like 50 more figures, and they're not little. It's not like 5 dudes. Some of them you get like a whole squad of whatever Skaven or Oryx or whatever the other, different factions are from in Sigmar. So yeah, it does look like a lot of stuff you get in the Age of Sigmar one. Now we'll get these torsos stuck on. Have a quick look at chat in a moment. But yeah, I do think they could have thrown in, because as you're painting these guys Ultramarines, if you follow the magazine, they could have put some decal, a few decal sheets. I think would have been nice. Makes sense for Chaos not to have decals. Their stuff isn't mass produced on a Forge World. No, I know, you can hand mark all their markings anyway. 71 to 74 should be the February delivery. 75 to 78 will be the March delivery, with the last 2 issues Terran in April. Yep. I think 75 to 78 is the Primaris Repulsor as well, isn't it? And then the last 2 issues, 75 and 79 and 80, that's where you get the big gantry structure thing that's massive. It's if you get the Renegade Knights pack when it was out, you get 2 Imperial Knights and that big structure, that big gantry system. So yeah, you get, it's quite big, that. Phillies has just finished building his Baal Predator and Terminator squad, just a load of Marines, etc. to build that. Every time I see Baal, all I can think of is Stargate SG-1 and Jack O'Neill taking the mickey out of Baal every time. Baal. The Karamak Legion, says Team Inept. Yeah, because of the plastic, the gold plastic. Sigmarines, that's, yes. I can never remember what the Stormcast Eternals, that's, I remember Sigmarines. Right, so let's glue on the Torsoniums. I always like to vary these up a little bit. I don't like everybody facing the same way, because that's boring. What we're going to do is we're going to take our little... Hey Dad, if you ever get a chance, just a little individual one of these would be lovely, thank you very much. I know you've not been well, if you ever get a chance. I'll pay you and everything if you want. But it would be handy to have a single Dad device. Now, I'm not paying attention even, or paying attention. I'll just make up words. Not paying attention to where the arms and things will go, because I don't know where the arms and things will go. We'll line them up a little bit, but not much. He can go there. But it doesn't quite line up with his back. Okay. Then we'll go in with the extra thin. Just to run it through. Just to seal the deal. So I always like to use both. The thick just to hold it in place, because if that was extra thin, it would have just fallen off. It takes about 20 or 30 seconds for the extra thin to kick in. Really. I've left a great big seam line on that. I'll clean that up later. I probably left it on all of these now. I cleaned it off that one. Forks, you spoon. You spoon. There's a great big seam line down the side that I didn't spot on that one. And on this one. There we go. I thought it was part of the armour, but it's not. It's just a big ass seam line. Oh dear. There we go. Get rid of that. There we go. Much better. There you go. Glue these on. I don't want them all to be facing the same way, but I don't think I've got as much freedom with these as I do have, say, with Imperial Guard type troopers. Because I know then that plate in the armour there isn't lined up with the crotch part, but it doesn't really matter. Or the belt part, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Not really that important. Not really. There you go. That's that one. And this is where I find out I can't get the arms on, because I've tried to go for some funky chest angle and it's all gone wrong. We shall find out. Dude, a bit more, too much glue there really, so I've got to be careful. Oops. Yeah, that's way too much glue on. I'll have to splooge that down. The extra thin is also handy for getting rid of any splooges that you make with the fat glue. Put too much on like that there. It just helps flatten it down. That's that one. They're all going to be facing the same way. Let's just be honest here. They're all going to look facing the same way. They're kind of generic. There's only so much I can do, I think. I'm hoping all these chests are the same. I've not actually looked. I'm hoping there's not like a specific one for like team leader or something that I haven't noticed. I'm hoping they're all kind of generic with maybe a different pouch here and there. There we go. That needs to go back a bit. You can be turning that way as well. Splooge glue, I'll just get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, if you get any like blebs of glue that splooge out from the thick stuff, just squish them down with a bit of extra thin. And this one, can we have him turning that way, do you think? I think we can. I think we're going to have one guy facing the wrong way completely. I don't see why that would be a bad idea. Now the big thing with these guys is none of them have got helmets on. I always like to try and avoid painting helmets faces if I can, because arse. Ain't got no choice with these guys, have I? They're all helmetless. Right, just far too much glue. Glue on that. Right, so we'll leave those for a minute now to set. I shall take the big helmet of seeing off. We'll have a look at chat. A swig of tea. Swig of tea. We'll get the glue lid back on the glue. There we go. Don't want to be dying of glue fumes. Glue fumes. Let's have a look at chat. You mean you can't glue some bits of pla together to make your own glue holder? I could make my own glue holder, but then it wouldn't be the same, because it wouldn't be a dad device, would it? Chris says, wait, has Fox almost built like 5 dudes? No, I've put 5 torsos on 5 sets of legs. Don't get too carried away there. Don't get too eager. Got to go now. Food is ready. Should be in Chris's stream later, says Jamie. Thanks for coming in, Jamie, though. Appreciate you hanging around. Enjoy your enormous tea. Nim says, food shall be here in 5 minutes. That's good, but you haven't told us what the food is. You never told us what you decided on. You mean you herbed on that one? Exploiting the elderly for shame. I don't know what that's for. Still more than normal. About the fact I've done 5 dudes. Can't wait to get to the black coach, says Muse, but so many spooks to paint. I'm looking forward to trying some nice transitions on them with the airbrush. This is the Night Haunt. Should be good practice and a nice new technique to learn. Dad says, one's in the post, Fox and Chris, single glue holder. Thanks very much, Dad. Love you to bits. Dad's awesome. I'm going to... Philly says, I'm going with black to something really bright like turquoise or maybe orange. This is for his Night Haunt. Turquoise would be nice. Don't forget, though, orange and teal. Orange and teal. They're good colours. Good colour. Even though it's overused in cinema posters and it makes me annoyed sometimes, as in every time I see it. Orange and teal are 2 of the most complementary colours. In fact, why don't you just paint them with blue teal and blue, teal and orange, and make them all look like movie posters? Just finished my build. I've just finished building, says Digitarian, my start collecting Vanguard Space Marines box set, and there was a lot of mould lines for such a new kit. Yeah, you always get mould lines, but trust me, yourself on there. I'm no shill for Games Workshop, and other things are available that do the same job, but these things, this is the mould line removal tool. Oh, the best tool ever. It's my favourite tool in the whole damn world. Muse says strawberry and cheese coffee cake. Oh, that sounds really nice. Coffee cake and strawberry and cheese. My biggest issue with Games Workshop stuff is the sprue gates. So often they are right where you don't want them, which is why I hate Tempest to Scions, which is why, and I don't know why I did this, but about a month ago, I did get myself some more Tempest to Scions. I've already got 20 of them, and I hated building them because of the cables and the things that the sprue gates are right on. If you look at the dude where he's got the little data thing on his arm, on both arms, that's where the sprue always connects. And you have to be really careful sanding it down. So I don't know why I got 5 more, because I've got 20 and I hated building them, but I'm really looking forward to painting them. Also, I need to do them at some point. I'm never going to get an army finished because I keep building little bits and then not having the codex, and then what I do build I'll probably sell. It's weird. I want to have, by the end of it, one day I want to have an army that consists of Tempestus Scions and Death Corps. But I don't want to build the Death Corps, I want to paint them. And I don't want to build the Scions because they're a pain in the bum. I might just go round eBay and just buy pre-made ones. I didn't say that out loud. Nim says, roast beef sandwich and curly fries. Good girl. Somebody went to Arby's, says Eric. Half the Terminator's heads are hidden in the armour, but the gates are right on top and fully visible. Yeah. You do get used to, when it comes to heads, especially with things like the Scions and the Cadian Troopers, you get used to actually trimming them down. And that's one reason why I kind of like the plastic, Games Workshop plastic, because it is quite forgiving for carving. When I made that crazy little Meng tank free models over Christmas, I took a Scion Sergeant head and trimmed down the neck, because the neck was this big bulbous thing like it had goiter or something. I had to trim a lot of that, carve it away to make it fit in the Imperial Guard tank driver body, and I did, and it was like carve, fit, perfect, and it was dead easy, and I'm rubbish at that stuff. So yeah, the plastic is quite, not this is weird plastic, but it is quite nice. Right, Nim says no, she didn't go to Arby's, I had it delivered. Chris says, who is Arby? Arby's is a takeaway, is a fast food chain in the Americas. Apparently quite good. Right, when assembling your sergeant, you can use any of the weapons options, except for the heavy bolter, see over the page. Know that you only have 4 bolt guns and 4 Astarte shotguns. Now, I'm not really going to pay much attention to these because, if you're familiar with this, George is helping to fund this whole project. And we're going to split it. So he's going to get all the Space Marine stuff, and I'm going to keep the Death Guard stuff. So he's getting the Imperials, I'm getting the Chaos. So is George still? Are you still watching, George? Are you there, my child? Are you watching, my child? Because if you are, if you want, you can decide what these guys are going to have. If you want, it's kind of generic, doesn't really matter, I suppose. I'm kind of deciding for it. I've just realised up to now. So have we still got a while, George, or has George gone off to meetings and things? I would say I'd get all the arms trimmed and cleaned up, but I can't afford to have a big pile of arms, because then it's Death Corps of Krieg all over again. Whoa. I was really looking forward to painting those Death Corps of Krieg. They look fantastic. I don't think George is still watching, is he? I'll give you a minute, George, and I'll have to decide for you. I will make the decision for you. I'll get the bits cut off there. Bolt pistol. Okay. Actually, not that much of a choice. You've got a choice of bolt pistol, bolt pistol, bolt pistol, bolt pistol, bolt pistol. And that's it. Or chainsword. And that's it. Okay. There's not that much of a choice. It's just choice of which bolt pistol. I thought they could have like 12 different weapons. Okay, never mind then. Ignore it, George. It's just a choice of which bolt pistol do you want. I shall give you I shall decide for you. I shall decide for you in the voice of James Mason. Nim says, it wasn't too much for me since I live within the bubble and I treat myself to delivery only once in a while. What, you live within the inhabited systems of the Milky Way? Cool. In the bubble. That's what it means to me. You can tell I play too much Elite. Right, so we have a choice of bolt pistol, and how many do we have? Okay, so they're all kind of generic. I think what we'll do, George, is we will give you, without knowing which is which, there's no way to know. I'm going to give you the weapon I should choose in the voice of James Mason will be that one. There we go. That's how I chose. And I didn't say the words out loud because yeah, you don't want to know. Right, let's get this one trimmed off. Did you like my decision-making process there? It was fantastic. It was fantabulous, that process. We want a chain sword. Chain sword. Chain sword. And there's no way to know which one is which. So I will just grab. Where's my nippies? I shall just grab. Hang on, have we actually got? Oh, we've only got a choice of one. Okay, that's fine. It's just chain sword or lots of other swords. Okay, chain sword. We need a bonds and bonds. We'll think of the bonds. We've got bloke, 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 blokey, bloke, and bloke. They're all kind of generic. They all look the same. And the one's got the Geordie LaForge visor. I think the Scout Sergeant should be the one that's doing the shouty shouty. He gets the shouty shouty head. And what I shall do is, I think, looking at how the arm goes on, I think this body here, with a slight twisty, I think he's going full, like, he's going, wah, because he's got both his arms out like that, akimbo. He's going, wah! Maybe that's not the best one. Maybe the best one is that one. Don't know. How's that look? He's turned that way in that case. Do. I think the other body's better. Abby's talking about fast food now. Arby's plus cookies, yes. We have DoorDash and Grubhub. Aren't DoorDash under fire at the minute because they paid like their staff virtually nothing, virtually slave labour. Micro Worlds Foxy. Post a picture in the boom hut. Good girl. I can get fresh baked cookies that are still warm delivered to me as well. Oh. Eric Graham said, I've got a Wendy's 2 blocks away and they deliver that through DoorDash, just as easy and quicker for me there to go there myself. I live down the road from a Taco Bell and across the street from a McDonald's. Carl making the model says 48 watching, only 13 likes. Come on, folks, slap that button. Thank you very much, Carl. Yes, if you are watching, don't forget, and this isn't just for me, this is for anybody you're watching. If you're watching content, it's a channel that you enjoy. Not a lot of people realise that a good way to help your favourite channels when you watch their content is to know where their knife is. There it is to always hit the like button on every video, because it actually affects how that video appears in the YouTube search results. If a video has a lot of likes on it, then it's more likely to appear in a search when somebody searches for something. A video with no likes will be less likely to appear in a search. So whenever you're watching, not just stuff from me, although I would appreciate it if you did, whenever you watch content from somebody who you like their content, obviously subscribe to their channel and everything else, hit the notification bell and choose all, but whenever you watch one of their videos, click the like button, click the thumbs up button. It just really helps your channel out, because the more that the more likes a video gets, the more it appears in search. The more it appears in search, the more people watch it. The more people watch it, the more successful and better that channel does. So all you have to do is click a button, and you're really helping out the channels that you enjoy. People that make the content, you're helping them continue to make content. So yeah, hit the like button if you wouldn't mind massively. I would really appreciate it if anybody watching hit that like button. Really want to press that button, folks. But also, 48 people watching. Wow. I love all of you. You're all awesome. You do realise that, don't you? People still talking about food. Does your Taco Bell take 20 minutes to make your order as well? Never had Taco Bell. I really wish we still have Burger King around here. We used to have a Burger King local to me, and they closed it down, so the nearest one's Warrington, which is like not even going to Warrington for Burger King. Screw that. Because I prefer Burger King to McDonald's. But the only thing I used to get angry about was you walk into Burger King when we had a local one, and there'd be no one there. There'd be literally nobody, or maybe one customer. And you'd place your order, and it would take them forever. And you walk in when it's massively busy, and it'd take them forever. And it's almost like they didn't have anything. If they're quiet, they just didn't bother having anything made up at all. You know, can I just get this thing and chip and some fries? Yeah, give us 5 minutes for the fries. Wait, what? Do you not just have a constant cycle of fries being made? Heresy. Oop. We have a little super chat popping up there. The traditional skullfish soup cat. Thank you very much, Skullfish. That's very, very kind of you, my friend. It will come up around about now. Nope. Now. About now. Don't know the delay. 30 seconds. Now. 3, 2, 1. I got it right in the end. I got it right eventually. Thank you very much for that, Skullfish. I'm afraid I don't have a button set up. I don't actually have enough spare buttons now to have a Skullfish button like Chris does, but apart from that, the Skullfish button is kind of Chris's thing. I don't want to steal that idea. That was his idea. I don't want to take that idea. I haven't got any spare buttons. Chris has got bigger buttons than me, if you pardon the expression. I have a TED button, of course.
Slap it on.
But I don't have another button to add a Skullfish. But like I said, that's Chris's thing. But thank you very much for that. And keep in mind, folks, as well, if you do a super chat, not only does it mean I get to see, I guarantee I'll see your comment, because it obviously makes a noise like you saw, and it puts a big coloured box in. It also helps support me directly. It's a direct way you can help support this channel. So thank you very, very much. Space Hamster says pooper rat. Thank you very much for that one. He's donated 5 CHFs. I don't know what a CHF is, but thank you very much. It actually popped up quite quickly. It popped up at the same time as the sound and everything else as well, which is weird. There was a delay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's very, very kind of you. Pooper rat. Carolina Roberto is in. Hello, Fox, says Carolina. Welcome, Carolina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I shall press it in your honour later, says Chris. Yes, Chris has the Skullfish button. I don't know where that started. It just kind of started. Skullfish is celebrating the end of decaling. There you go. That's where that came from. Nim says, I mean, I have the mall like right down the road from me with its food court and fancy dining and all that, but it would require me to put pants on. Yes. If anything requires you to put pants on a Sunday, probably not worth doing, really. Don't worry, I do have pants on. Before everybody starts panicking. I'll always wear pants for you guys, because that's just polite. But you can guarantee the moment this camera stops rolling, yeah. Actually, it doesn't, because I still have to go to the shop later on, so pants will have to stay on. Never mind. Oh, Swiss francs, if anybody's really wondering. Oh, there you go then, CHF, Swiss francs. Thank you very much, Space Hamster. I just didn't recognise them. Like, what's chuff? What currency is chuff? And then, of course, it's a CH is Switzerland. So there you go. Thank you very much. Swiss francs. I often say that when if two of my friends are having an argument about something, if you're with some people and two people are having an argument and one of them turns to you and says, "What do you think?" Just go, Switzerland. It's your way of saying, I'm not getting involved. No way, when you've got two mates arguing about something, I'm always like, no way I'm getting involved in that. You're not even going to get me slightly involved in it. Switzerland. Just say Switzerland. Raging Bassist is in. He says Belly Sod All and Bench Stormcast Eternals or Stormcast Externals, he says, and Night Haunts from the Sigmar Mag and the Bone Golem Still. I have a plan for my Dread Gang members. Just need more paints. Welcome, Raging Bassist. Ooh, got the burps. What's the build today? We are building Space Marine Scouts, 5 of them. I have assemblated so far the legs and torsos. I haven't started all the fiddly arms bit yet. Sod Switzerland, think Sweden, says Athel. I'm thinking more of the neutral thing. In an argument, just go, Switzerland means I'm neutral, not getting involved, you're on your own, don't bring me into your traumas. Right, that's that arm done. With the wavy sword. I think there's no seam line left on there. Not a bad clean-up job, folks, if I do say so myself. Hello, Athel, by the way. Welcome. If you're really going to do Switzerland, you need to secretly support the one you think is winning without letting everyone know, though. I like that. You're doing quite well, then you have stuff assembled, says Bassist. I know, it's not right, is it? And I've been talking all the way through. Not right, that. It's nearly. Can't quite get anything in on his pauldron to sand away the remains of that seam line. I could use sandpaper, but that's just not normal. I don't even know if I have sandpaper. Who uses sandpaper? Who throws a shoe? I've actually got sandpaper. But it's rubbish, like super high grit. Not really good for sanding anything. There's a first for you folks. It's not often you see me actually get sandpaper out. Let's fold that over so it's got a bit more rigidity to it. Rigidity. Do. I've eaten my strawberry cheese coffee cake and had a bit of coffee. Still looking at things I need to paint, says Muse. I would say the only thing you can do there for sure is eat more strawberry cheese coffee cake. It's always the correct thing to do. Always. Need to get motivated to pick up a brush, says Muse. Yeah. That could be the bugger sometimes, is actually getting yourself motivated to do it. Because sometimes, even when you love doing something, sometimes doing it is like, oh, it can be a chore. Oh, Dave's in. I got home for the fun bit, the arms. Yeah, I'm doing the sergeant at the minute, so he's only got a choice of, well, there's not really a choice. So this one's not a problem. This one is not a problem. It's drilling time. Muse says I got woke up at 9 AM by the idiot I cohabitate with. Early rising idiots. They're always the worst. Right, so we need to do a barrel. Drill out the barrel. You see what I did there? Southerners will appreciate that because that's classical music to Southerners. Or something, I don't know. Crazy Southerners. Didn't even make coffee, but I had to drive him to the shops. Did you just kick him in the nads as a way of making the point? Because I would. Or did you just say, what did your last slave die of? Is that it's the heavy bolter dude that's going to have you ranting. I shall keep that in mind. I may have to do that off camera. Sorry. If it requires great concentrations, it may have to be done greatly off the camera. Scale Model Muse says, I thought about it, but worse than that, it's my dad. Oh, In that case, yeah, you drive them to the shops. If it's your dad, yeah, that's all right. I thought you meant it was just like some like spoon you were cohabiting with, like a room housemate or something. For some reason, I had in my mind some kind of like typical Californian, whoa, dude, kind of idiot. Yeah. You can't call your dad an idiot. He's your dad. Right. Hopefully you're not getting my head in shot, by the way. I don't know where the camera is. Little hole drilled out in the barrel. Kind of makes... There's no little... there is a side vent, but it's behind the main barrel. So I'm wondering if this bolt pistol is supposed to have like a silencer on it. Because it looks like... It could be. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see. Hang on, let me find my camera controllings. Zooming. Ooh. You can see here, on this diagram here, you've got the little vent hole, the muzzle brake, or what you want to call it, is there behind this bit. And this is big and fat, so I'm wondering if there's supposed to be a silencer on the end. Because it's bigger and fatterer. I actually called him something I can't say in here. It's a family channel. It's not a family channel. This is not for kids. You can swear as much as you want in the chat. I'm not going to read it out. It's not for kids. YouTube, if you're listening, it's not for kids. This is not for kids at all. It's not a family channel. You can swear as much as you want in chat. It's a monetized channel, so I'm not going to read it out. You can say as many rude words. There's probably a couple of rude words you might not want to put in, just because they're exceptionally rude. You know, they might be a bit of a, ooh, you don't want to go that far. Okay, this is a risky one now, because this is really the little sort of muzzle brake hole. If that's what it is, I don't know. I don't know guns. It's not much smaller than the actual barrel, so I might be taking a bit of a risk here. But we do have 4 other arms I can try. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Now remember my golden advice. When you drill out a barrel or do any kind of cleanup, you will be left with a little bit of fuzz around the edge. And you can clean that with some extra thing, which I'll do in a minute. I need to get the rest of it cleaned up first. So let's just get the rest of this cleaned up first, and then we'll sort out the little fuzz that's left around that bit of the barrel. So we'll just take out the mould line. I've forgotten who it was earlier on. I was saying you should get the mould line removal tool. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one. The reason it's better than using a knife is because the blade is rigid. It's not flexy like a scalpel or a knife. It's solid and rigid. So when you drag it across a surface, it leaves you with a nice smooth finish. It doesn't skitter and jump, and therefore it doesn't leave you with scratches and scrapes. And it requires less effort to use. You can actually tidy up a seam line in half the time it would take you using a knife. Now you could get rid of a seam line and find that the plastic was smooth enough that you could just prime over it and go paint. You can actually do that sometimes. It does actually clean it up that nicely, but if you do need to clean it up at all, it's just a very light sand with a very light sanding sponsule to finish up the cleanup. Yeah, if you get rid of mould lines, I do recommend something like this. Other tools are available, rather than a modelling knife or something flexible like that. And there's enough people in chat that will tell you the same thing, that they were like, yeah, that's just, you're just saying that. It's nonsense, it's just an expensive Games Workshop thing. And then they tried it and they're like, actually, you know, you were right. It is now my favourite, most indispensable tool. This, when I did my big 1/48 scale Eagle transporter, cleaning up all the mould lines on the tubing took me about half an hour. If I'd done it with a knife, it would have taken twice that long, because I would have got rid of all the mould lines with the knife and then spent 2 hours cleaning up all the mess that the knife would have left behind. Whereas this just makes it flat. Like, technically now that pauldron is smooth enough. I've got rid of the mould line. It's smooth enough I could prime over that. You wouldn't even see that where I'd sanded it away. There, where I'd got rid of the mould line. But I will give it a quick sand, just to completely smooth it. Because you know me, I'm the lazy model maker. If I can find a way to do something that takes half the effort but gives the same good results, I'm always going to tell you about it. I'm always going to shout about it. Because to me, there's so many things in model making that are like the quick way of doing it, or it's the long way and it'll take you twice as long, that seems pointless. There's people that do things in model making, and you're like, why do it that way when it's easy to do it this way? And the argument is, well, that's the way it's always been done. That's the way you're supposed to do it. That's the way I've always done it. No. You don't need to worry about that. This is your hobby. You do whatever you want, but it doesn't harm. Especially if you're like me and you hate the building part and you love the painting part. I have no interest in the building part at all. So anything I can do to speed up the process, but without impacting the quality. Like I'm using a knife here, but I'm only using a knife here because I can't get the other tool into this little tiny gap. But I'd rather not use a knife, because it's more aggressive, it's more scrapey, and it will leave little scrape marks. You will often see me, if it's a big area, go in with this tool afterwards, try and smooth it off. I mean, I will use a knife blade on things like heads, just because the seam line tool is just far too big for some areas. So there you go, there's a seam line removed. What I need to do now, remember what I said, got the fuzzy bits on the barrel, so I get most of the Tamiya extra thin off. There's almost nothing on there. I run it around the inside of the barrel like that, and then I push it through the little side vent like that, run it in, and all that does, whenever you drill out a barrel or anything like that, it takes the little bits of fuzzy plastic, little fuzzy hairs that have come off, just make sure I'm not zoomed in, it takes all the little bits of fuzz wherever the knife has scraped it, and it just melts them, because remember this is a welding cement, it just melts them and makes them go and flatten down, and therefore you get a nice smooth edge. So if you do drill something out like that, that's how you smooth the edge off once you've drilled it. It's much easier than using like little round file or something like that, which is just nonsense. Okay, so quick look at the chat. I need to get some tissue for the moustache, which is absorbing half my tea. I make a litre of tea, I drink half of it, because half goes in my moustache and disappears. Scale Models says, didn't want to use a rude word, but then says, but the see you next Tuesday got a face full of me this morning in public. Yes, we know what that means. Right, going to leave this tab open, be back in 8 to 10 minutes doing the mash for the shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie! Pie flavour pie is the best pie, says David. Butcher that model. I didn't get the Games Workshop line remover. I have one that a local here makes. It's better. Far less money. Yeah, I mean, any tool like that will do. There are other tools that are available. I just got this one because I was in the Warhammer shop at the time. But there are many other variants. As long as it's basically a not sharp but 90-degree edged, rigid, not flexible blade. The one you get with Warhammer Conquest is somewhere. I've put it somewhere. I can't remember where. The one you get with Warhammer Conquest is basically this without the handle. It's just that bit. It's a bit cheap, really, but there you go. Because they say you get a free seam line removal tool, and I can't find it now. Where is it? Oh, it's there. You get a free seam line removal tool. No, you get that. You don't get magnet on it. You get that, which is fine. It doesn't really matter. I don't know why there's a magnet on there, though. I don't even know where those magnets have come from. Magnets! How do they work? Nobody knows. Right. Dave says, I miss steak pudding chips and gravy from a proper northern chip shop. These soft southerners don't know where pudding chips and gravy are. Yeah, they don't. Yeah. If you miss northern chip shops, then that's correct. George says, I was told I was requested. Yes, I was going to ask you to make a choice on weapons, but it turns out I didn't need you to in the end. So I decided for you. I thought there'd be a choice of weapons for the captain, the scout sergeant of these scouts, but there's not. It's just a choice of one weapon in 5 different poses. I've decided for you. But thank you for coming in. Build a handle, fork handle. Hi, Snowman. Hi, George, by the way. Yeah, proper northern chip shop gravy. I went visiting someone in Leicester once, and I was shocked, I tell you, to go into a number of chip shops, all of whom offered chips with curry sauce, and I'm like, do you just have chips with gravy? No, I got curry sauce. What? I mean, I don't mind curry sauce on my chips, but can I get gravy? No, we don't do gravy. Who has gravy on chips? What? Southerners are weird. I know Leicester's not really southern, but it's near enough. Close enough to be tarred with the same brush. Spag, bol and onion relish tonight, says Athel. Sounds nice. I don't know what we're having tonight because Mama Fox isn't very well today, so it might be a fend for myself. If she's up and about, she might just be on toast, I guess. A bit poorly sick today, so... Rolux Illusion says, beer and I get the voice right. Beer and sex and chips and gravy. Get up off the floor. Gonna sup some more. Yes, I know what that reference is. Good old Matt, lads. Beer and sex and chips and gravy. Get up off the floor. Gonna sup some more. Oh dear. I won't be singing any Matt, lads, for copyright reasons and for all the other reasons. Right, so we've got this chap here. Hello, Rolux Illusion, by the way. Welcome. If you haven't chatted before. Don't forget, by the way, folks, if you are watching this, there are 52 of you. Holy cow. There's 52 of you watching out there. If you are watching this, even if you're not really up for chat, do come and say hello in the chat. If you want to join in the live chat, if you're watching this embedded somewhere, like on Hello or Facebook or Patreon or Twitter or somewhere, and you can see the chat there, but you can't see how you join in the live chat, you just need to click the little YouTube icon. If you go down to the video player where the full screen button is and the subtitle button and the settings icon, there's also the YouTube icon there. Click on that. It'll take you to YouTube page where you can carry on watching this show, and you can also join in the live chat. If you're on a mobile device, the live chat may be underneath the video. You have to scroll down. Sometimes it is. So yeah, even if you're not normally a chatter, do pop in and just say hello. And just let's have an old AOL moment. ASL. Although I don't need to know the A and S. Just let me know, where are you all from? Where is everybody? Where are you all today? I know a lot of you, but just for everybody else. ASL with oh God, who remembers that? The old days of AOL chat. Oh God, now we're going back. AOL chat, where you go into a live chat room and the first thing you'd ask is ASL, and you don't know why, because I was like 15 at the time or something stupid, some child like I don't know. Old days of AOL chat. But yeah, where are you all? Where is everyone? Of course, I'm in Cheshire, in the UK. Lovely Cheshire. Cheshire boy, born and bred, but not posh and poncy. Cheshire's weird because Cheshire's like, you're either a posh, in Cheshire you're either the equivalent of a posh southerner because you're in the poncy bit of Cheshire, or you're just a regular northerner, because not all of Cheshire is footballers' wives and nonsense like that. The countryside bit might be a bit, but there's also non-posh bits. I am not from the posh bit. 34th Street. I think I'm 34th Street. I'm going to guess that's 34th Street Coast Gaming, or 34 ST Gate. Wow, hang on. T. Moustache. 34th Street Coast Gaming, I shall assume that's how it's pronounced. It says, thanks for all your work. Inspiration from you and others have made me better in this hobby we all share. Thank you very much for your kind words. You're most welcome. That's what I'm here for. I'm here just to show people what I do and how you can do it as well. I take pride in the fact that I am the laziest human being in the world, and if I can make something simpler and easier to do, and dispel the notion that something has to be done a certain way, then I will do that. Prime example, for example, chipping. The kind of more traditional way is paint your colour, do the chipping fluid, paint more colour, do chipping fluid, scrape it away, do this. You can do that. Or you can just be like me, a bit lazy, paint the chipping on. Just paint the paint chips. It's much easier. It's not going to be exactly the same effect, but for the most part, it's going to be just as good. Yeah, so you're more than welcome. Rolux Solution says, it's me, the artist formerly known as Prince Gorilla. Oh, yes. I will forget who you are every time you do that. So just accept that. I'm a bear of very little brain. Once I get used to a name, it takes me a long time to get used to the next version of it. It's like, I can't remember what Just Django, who is not, of course, Just Django, it's Django. But, so it's not actually Just Django, it's just Django. Not Just Django, it's Django. I can't remember who Django changed to. But I know Django changed. Skullfish says, all this talk of food is making me do a mental inventory of the fridge. This is correct. Sweaty Betty is my favourite Mac Lads ditty, says Butcher that model. Who took some of my health, says George. We've had a few. We had a bit from Digitari. We had a bit from Cynical Steve. Cynical Steve had a go at you. Yeah, so them two have had a bit of a dig at your health, George. There you go. So you're not as invulnerable as you think. You can, of course, give yourself health back, but I think to do so at such an early stage will be a bit unsporting. To give yourself health back when you've got like 500 health left will be hilarious. Muddy guy running out the door, says Skullfish. Oh, to George. Athel McNichol is south of Aberdeen City in Scotland. We have Mordraka is in Rockhampton, Queensland, Australia. Stay safe. Nim is in Buffalo, New York, home of the chicken wing. We're a drinking town with a sports problem. I like that. Drink is the curse of the working classes. Or rather, no, work is the curse of the drinking classes. I should get that right. Work is the curse of the drinking classes. Oh, I see. East Coast Gaming. It's pronounced as East. Sorry, it's 34EA. There you go. East Coast Gaming. I'm British. That took me a while. Philly says, I'm from the mean streets of New York. That was more New Jersey where I said that, wasn't it? ATTG is in Boston. Wicked awesome. That was a terrible Boston accent. I do apologise. I only know, that's the only Boston type phrase I know is wicked awesome. Butcher that model is on a little island on the south coast, the home of the Royal Navy and no gravy and chip shops. Oh, and it rains a lot here. What, you mean like the United Kingdom? Muse, Italian by birth but American by choice. My parents' choice. They had to go on holiday when Mom was nearly due. Okay. Nastro25, welcome Nastro. Watch Lutron lose again. Sorry, I'll say that again with real words. Nastro25 says, watch Luton lose again. Sad face, that's football. I don't understand. Went on a Kate Bush and Bjork frenzy. Kate Bush, Jesus wept. When a Kate Bush and Bjork frenzy, realised you were on, so here I am. I don't know how I feel about being linked to a Kate Bush frenzy. I really don't know how I feel. I don't know how that sits in my brain. Being somebody who grew up in the 70s and 80s, I don't know, but I can't pass that. Carolina says, how often do I play Warhammer? I have never played Warhammer. I've played one game ever, and that was just a Daka rally game at the open day at the store, which wasn't really Warhammer. So I've never actually played. I don't, unfortunately, have the luxury of having any of my friends that play. Cue the sad music, please. Sympathy music, any minute now. Yeah, none of my friends, all my friends are like family and stuff. They all like have families and things. None of my friends are actually into model making, so I don't, know anyone that I socialise with on a daily basis that actually plays. And the only real places I've got that I could play are my local Warhammer store, which is 10 or 15 minutes away, or Goblin Gaming, which is a good half-hour drive to their store. Ideally, I'd have like mates that would just come round and play, but I'm not too fussed because I got into this through the model making first and foremost. It was only later on I thought, you know what, I would actually like to give this game a try. So I will do one day, but I haven't got enough built up in terms of an army. I was just going to go on now. Now this needs to fit somehow. I've got stuff built up, but I kept doing the special thing of I build something and then go, oh wait, I didn't actually get a codex for that at all, did I? Because I'm special, you see. It's like me, I've got 3 Imperial Knights. Have you got a codex? No. I've built loads of Space Marines. Have you got a codex? Yeah. So I've only got, the only codex I've got at the minute is the Astra Militarum Codex, and I've got the Imperial Armour Codex for the Death Corps, which of course now I don't want to make because the figures, not the vehicles. I want a Death Corps army, but at the same time I don't want to build the Death Corps. I want somebody else to build them for me because I don't want to deal with the arms. George, I think I've given your arm, your Scout Sergeant, a kind of weird pose. He's gone a bit damn dirty apes. He's just kind of shouting a lot and he's going, wah! I shall zoom in so you can see. Do 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 do. He's kind of doing a come at me, bro. Whoa! So that's your Scout Sergeant. He's having a bit of a bad day, I think. So we got that one glued. Model Officer's got to go. Enjoy your evening. Until next time. Thank you for popping in there, dude. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to call it quits in a minute because I think Mama Fox has just got up and about. So I need to go make sure she's okay. And we've got one dude built. So what we'll do, I'll have a quick last look at chat. Let's have a look. We aim to unseat you, George, says Muse to George. Bassist says, woohoo, my friend has just uploaded my new bass video. Awesome. Good news on your thing, by the way, Bassist. Good news. If you're not sure, go have a look in the boom up. Andy's news. Muse is southeast of Detroit in the snow-covered mitten. Interzone is Melbourne, Australia. Oh, good day, Interzone. Didn't see you there, Interzone. Slap that like, says Carl. Thank you very much. Boston, Lincolnshire, not Massachusetts, says ATTG. Oh, okay. Not Boston. Where's Lincolnshire? When I think of Lincolnshire, all I can think of is Lincolnshire Poacher. And now I'm thinking of number stations, new BV76. If you don't know what that means, just go and look up number stations on Wikipedia. It's fascinating. It's my impression of UBV76. Hang out to the shop and make new friends, says Muse. I'm middle-aged. It's weird to hang around the shop because it's always school kids and that just doesn't, it's not, yeah. I'm a middle-aged bloke with a paunch and a beard. That's not going to end well for me, is it? Substitute them heads for older regular heads with character, says Athel. I haven't got any spare minion heads, unfortunately. I've got some Astra Militarum, Imperial Guard, Cadian Trooper heads, but they're all like the grunt troops, so I haven't got anything interesting I can swap them with. Unfortunately. Or tank drivers. The other problem with my local Warhammer store is the only place to park near it is the Tesco's car park, and that's a 2-hour limit. Real problem. It's a real problem for the town near me. There's nowhere to park. The link to Fox, aka Billy No Mates, music. I don't know what that link is. A link to my music. I don't know why that's there, but thank you very much. Recently I've been more tempted to give the game a try, but don't really need other hobbies, says Phil East. Basis says, thank you very much. Going to share the new video on post if anyone wants to check out. I live in Las Vegas, says Digitari, very much like Canto Bight from The Last Jedi. Cool. What the hell did you just say? I don't know. What did I just say? Boston. Don't you have hamster heads, says Nim. Yes, they will be going on some Space Marines. I've got a load of hamster heads. I need actual Speedy Q8 to send me some more, but I will do some Space Marines with hamster heads. The only thing is, of course, like I say, Chris did his. I don't want to riff on his idea. Have a good one to all, says Eric. Hope to see you guys later on Gross Model stream. Fox, weren't there some heads on that resin block I gave you, Beyond Hope? Yes, but I'm saving them for Angry Marines. Gonna make some Angry Marines. Lincolnshire is on the east coast, Bombers County, says Lewis. I know ATGG when said, what the hell did you just say? I mentioned Lincolnshire Poacher, and Lincolnshire Poacher is the name of a potentially Russian number station, which is what UVB 76 is, a number station. That's why I was making the little nod, because go and look up number station on Wikipedia. It's all Cold War intrigue and spycraft. It's Simon Bates' our tune music you wanted, sad music. Oh, okay, all right. I'm happy for you to do hamsters. Shepherd's pie is on. What did I miss for the last 20 minutes? I finished the little dude who's going, come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. Do you not even lift, bro? Animals of Farthingwood, Space Marine chapter or Watershed Down? Watershed Down. I never have a watershed. Right, I think what we're going to do, folks, because I can hear Mama Fox bumbling about now. She's up and about again. She went back to bed. She wasn't very well, bless her, so I'll go and check on her and make sure she's okay. I shall leave it there. It's a bit of an early finish now. We've got about 40 minutes to go. I might carry on with these later on and get some more bits and bobs done. I think everybody telling me the arms are so bad, I might do them off camera. You might not get the satisfaction of me swearing, because it's hard enough doing a telly programme. Never mind trying to stick on arms at the same time. But we'll see. We'll see. But thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, as always, if you'd like to support this channel, hit the like button on this video and on any video for any channel that you like. Always hit the like button when you watch their stuff. It really helps out the channels that you love. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Lots of links in the description below this video for my Amazon store, my Goblin Games, Patreon, every other ways you can support me and help keep this channel going. It's gratefully appreciated. I will be back tomorrow for the E-Models live show tomorrow night, 9 PM. And I'll try and get the next X-Wing build episode up for patrons in the next couple of days, and then for everybody else a week later. And don't forget, of course, tonight, 8 PM, this evening on Chris's channel, Gross Models, he's got his Warhamster, where he's carrying on with, I assume he's carrying on with his little orc bombers, I think, his death bombers. I'm guessing, I don't know. But we shall all see you soon. So I shall say thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome like these. Come at me, bro. Do you not even lift, bro? Do you not even lift? Oh, that's not a very come at me, bro voice, I know, but I'm trying to take account of the new audio setup. But yes, take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome. Don't forget, if you're ever not sure... Oh, the button didn't work. Hang on. Oh, Blanchtacular. If you're ever not sure... Oh, it still didn't work. Hang on. Button scenario. Button down. Hang on. Oh. Buttons went to sleep. Ah, handy. Don't forget, folks, if you're ever not sure...
Slap it on.
That would have been funny if I hadn't had to fart about with the buttons. Never mind. I shall say thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. And until next time, adios, amoebas. I said amigas. I'm going home now. Bye.